All right,
Okay.
you are live, but let me check here on YouTube to make sure it's coming in. Come on. Where's this damn thing?
Because too many people are saying that sound quality in the trade room is not great. Others are saying it's perfect. Others are saying,
All right, you're live here on YouTube.
oh,
Um,
okay. Hello, everybody on YouTube.
Others are saying, yep, everything's good to go here on the YouTube side now.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll broadcast as if, okay, because right now,
I mean, the only other thing you could do is you could stream to the room and just tell everybody to get audio through YouTube, and you cut the screen sharing on the YouTube side if you wanted. That's an option.
okay, yeah, that is an option. Okay. But let me, first of all, okay, thank you very much, Chris. I might have to,
Yeah.
after hours, I might have to do this again so I understand exactly how to do it. Because right now I can stream to YouTube and it doesn't appear to be taxing my computer.
All right. Well, that's a good thing.
Okay. So, okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, and Pepe's in here. He says it sounds good. So you know where the comments come in, right?
Yes. Yeah, I can
All
see
right.
the comments and now I just have to figure out how to pop them out. Oh, okay. Excellent. Thanks so much, Chris. Okay, guys, I'm
You got it.
actually broadcasting in YouTube. And okay, I'm actually broadcasting in YouTube also right now. And so far, so good in terms of my computer. So Chris was saying that there's a possibility what we could do is you could be in the main room because, the main room is better in terms of comments, etc., being able to post stuff. Mute the mic in the main room and just hear me in YouTube. Hear me, but I don't know if there's going to be a delay. Anyway, now this means so far I can broadcast on YouTube again. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to just proceed. Okay, I'm going to just proceed in both rooms. I'm crystal clear in this room. Wow. Okay. Well, how crazy is this? Okay, I don't want to dwell on it too much. It's 11:02. I don't want to dwell on it too much. Okay, I'll keep broadcasting in YouTube, so you can join me in YouTube. YouTube puts about a 5 to 8 second delay. That's what they do. Okay, from their end. It's not our doing it. But so that's why you cannot have both audios open. Well, this is good though. If I can broadcast back on YouTube, I'll do it every day again. Give people the choice. Okay, yeah. Alt ALBT. How do I pop it out? Okay, so the only problem I've got right now, guys, and if you're in YouTube, if you're asking me a question, okay, if you're asking me a question, I won't be able to see it yet. I know it sounds crazy. I can't remember how to pop it out because it's taking up too much screen space if I just have the whole thing open. So let me try to figure that out later. But interestingly, just let me know how the room sounds in the or the voice audio is in the main room. Has that improved because I'm doing YouTube, or is it the same? Anyway, guys, okay. VWAV. See, my computer's starting to whir up again. The sound has improved here. Interesting. Well, Shady, I had to do it. Have to do it when it's live, okay, to figure it out. It's a 10-minute delay. I'm sorry. Okay, this is now a gap down and reversal. So this is the reverse. This is the difference, of course, of the gap up and reverse. This is a gap down and reversal play, ARLP. So the fix for the obvious fix is not so obvious. Okay, Shady. If we get more than 50 in one stream at the same time in Discord, absolutely. But there's still. I know you're going to say, well, you can tag on or add on, but we tried that and it didn't seem to work well. If they would up the amount that you could do with one stream, as I'm going to call it one stream, sure. I go to Discord in a second. X. I don't have noise cancellation software anymore. I haven't had that for a long time. That was a real tax on my computer. That's why you're going to hear the odd, well, when my wife's at home or something, you might hear some chatting in the background. But ENTX guys, ENTX. So this is looking like, well, first of all, it's a little bit above that high. That red line is the next high looking left. And I don't have background music actually. It's just piped in through my headset, so it's not background music coming through my speakers or anywhere else. Okay, guys. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah. So AIM had. That's right. I think I looked earlier. AIM has no shorts available for me on at Interactive Brokers. Too bad. This was another gap up and reversal scan on the reversal scan. Gap up and reverse. Man, oh man, gap up and reverse. So I didn't even know that SBET gapped out, and it's now a reversal, guys. I mean, gapped up a little bit. Now it's reversing again. It's at the low of Friday. Takes that low of Friday out. Look left, 1928. Got a lot of room underneath still for SBET. It's on a short. It's right at that low. 2135 is the low of Friday. So it's just a little bit above it. It literally got down to 2132. The low of Friday was 2135. So far, the low of Friday is trying to hold it, but You know what? Gets down to 21.20, and that could be an awesome short because, I mean, lots of room underneath. It is to me, it's disconnected itself from the Bitcoin price. Shaw, yes, back on YouTube. Okay, in our YouTube room. Well, that would be crazy, Kittler, if the sound improves because I'm broadcasting in YouTube. Ton of room here, guys. Again, for the ARLP, a ton of room. $28, so about $1.40 to the next high. Looking left for ALBT, or sorry, ARLP. Okay, are we still good in YouTube? No. Okay, Pepe. All I'm trying to do is figure is to pop this out, pop out the chat, so I don't have to have this whole screen up and running. And I know there used to be some dots I just click on, and that would pop the chat out. But anyway, I'll figure it out. I'm not going to worry about it. So if you guys, I'm just going to, I can't worry about it right now. 11:12. So I'll be taking a break in about 30 minutes. Boy, yes, bet guys. I mean, this is looking really bleak here. It's now below the low, right at the low of Friday, which is 21.35. It's a little bit below the low of Friday. There just doesn't appear to be any enthusiasm for this anymore. I mean, remember now, this was a $40 stock a couple of weeks ago, cut in half now. And it's not like Bitcoin has been cut in half. So give me one moment. I'll be right back. So, guys, STEM is still strong. I mean, I remember these 2 days. I had a tremendous 2 days, and then it pulled back, and now it's above all this. And this is This is from our AI also. 1703 was the alert, and 1929 now. You had an opportunity. It popped and came right back into the alert price. So you had a long time. Excuse me, a lot of time to figure out if you really wanted to take this trade. Okay, guys, sorry. I'm just looking at my thumbnail charts to see if there's anything interesting happening. Okay, finger. Boy, I haven't seen this one for a long time. FNGR. Used to see this a lot. This came from the Pepe combo scan. The problem is it got right into that high, that red line. That's a high. Looking left, some week, or let's see if I can find it on a week. Yeah, so the week of June 9th, there was a daily high right there, came into it. Even if it takes that out though, 246 is the next high. Now, if it can take 246 out, then $3. So I'm going to put a price alert around that 247 level. See if it takes it out. Yeah, so I have a price alert for the FNGR around the 247 mark to see if it takes that out. We had an alert from the combo scan at 235, but that high is too close for me. So I'm not going to look at it, but I also want to see if it takes out the around the 250 mark, because if it does, it can run. Otherwise, it could stall at 250 also. Well, I mean, listen, the only problem with going completely to YouTube is that, well, let me try something here. We don't have, I mean, it's just not, I mean, it's, you don't have all these different tabs. I don't know if that makes a huge difference, but also linking, my putting links in. Let's just see. I'll just, just give me a moment. Yeah, so there's my homepage link. So it's easy enough to put that into YouTube. I know Pepe, you guys can't post links. That's an issue, and yeah, we don't have the different tabs. Yeah, when I take my break, I'm going to contact Sebastian. He's the guy who controls. It's a third party software for the trading room. I'll ask him. The Smart Digital Group. That's right. I think another one of these companies that are doing something with altcoins. I think. So SDM, so the high it has to take out is around 24. Well, it's got room. I shouldn't say that. It's got room to 24.20. So it has about wow, just popped as I was talking about it. But forget about it. Look at the spread, 23, 24. Look at the spread. Awful. Again, this blue screen I'm displaying is from Interactive Brokers, nothing to do with trade ideas. Time and sales from Interactive Brokers. All right. So meanwhile, the market has gone a little bit negative. Dow's SPY's down 47 cents. Nothing catastrophic or anything, but definitely been in a downturn today. Trend is down. The Dow is down, and the Qs are up. Well, basically flat. The Dow is down just a little, so not much happening with the overall markets today. I have this one still thumbnailed from Friday. I think it's from Friday anyway, maybe earlier, but CRI. Yeah, look at this one. So this had a terrible, terrible day on Friday, though it did recover. Now, I'm talking about the CRI. It was not. It was an earnings play. Yeah, July 25th pre-market. So this was actually an earnings play. It got hammered down. However, the low was 23.47. It did close up here at 26, and now it's above Friday's high. Well, it's been above Friday's high for a while, I guess. 26.55 is Friday's high. So it's about 40 cents above Friday's high. So if it wants to continue, obviously there's a ton of room. 34 is the next high looking left. And I'm not saying it's going to get there, but that is the next high looking left. So the V wave, guys, is actually holding really nicely. I mean, it's still at the high of the day, around the high of the day. And they just, so received a $50 million equity line to accelerate AI driven defense platform. That's the news for V Wave. Certainly was not as active in the pre market. It was active, but not as active. Okay, guys, CRVO. Oh, this is shortable for me, but I don't know where the first alert happened. Initially, this was a gap up and go, and then it reversed. Okay, so the first alert that I had and on a gap up and reverse, I think was around 1072. Wow, that's too far gone. Okay, guys, SPAT, my goodness, SPAT takes out 21. Look out below. I mean, it's got all this room underneath. 1920. So there's a wow. That's my sound alert for my momentum scan. VWAV just made another new high, continuing here. So this was, this was a gap up and go, okay, at 10 o'clock, 431, basically doubled from there. This is from the gap up and go. And this is just the don't repeat version of it, okay? So what I've done here is I said, okay, I only want, that's why it's easier. I can go back and say, find out where was the first alert and what happened from there. So that's why I wanted to find out where the V wave first alert was. And it was at 10 o'clock from this scan. And at 431, and this version is going to show it over and over and over again every time it keeps making a new high. Hey guys, 11:27. So in about 10 to 50, well, you know what? I may wait. I may start waiting till noon again because that's when Chris, I think it's Chris today. He'll probably start a, YouTube stream. So I'll probably wait till noon, like I used to. Mattel guys, I have that one thumbnailed also. Mattel had earnings a couple of days ago and got hit hard on earnings. Above Friday's high again. Okay. Well, I want to say again, it is above Friday's high. It tried to come back. In fact, it did a pretty good job because look where it closed. It closed near the high on Friday, and it's continuing here. PFSA, let's take a look. I have PFSA going to halt, and you're right. On the way down though. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's halted on the way up, but as we speak, as we speak, 107 is the potential open, and so it's halted at 113. Or 13. So now this might, of course, this changes. Usually there are 5-minute halts, so I'll have to see where it's going to open. This column is supposed to give you a clue as to where it could open, but as you can see, the number does fluctuate over the 5 minutes if it's a 5-minute halt. So if you're in this one, you you want to see a number greater than 113 in this column. Okay, guys. I mean, this SPAD, if it takes out 21, I mean, that whole number could hold it. I mean, it's still got a couple of dollars underneath. Okay, guys, this is a gap up. Well, okay, what the high up here? Well, it's sort of far enough away. This is a gap up and go. SCLX, SCLX. This is a gap up and go. The next high on a daily chart is 1563 or so. It's far enough away from 1518. This is a gap up and go, gapped up. And at the time of the alert, it was moving higher. Don't like the spread. 1504, 1524. Don't like that spread. Not a ton of volume, 5.8 times normal, but it's only 300,000 shares. All right, PFSA just resumed. And so it did pop up. So the halt was at 113. So it did actually get above the halt price. If you're in this one, then the next high is 134. That's a lot. That's on a percentage basis. So if you're in this one, congratulations. If it takes that out, 139, and then after that, 148. So all these little areas, it could stall, but if you got into this one around the halt price, right now anyway, and it looks like it could get halted again, and it just got halted again. Yeah, so nice. If you took that one, because now the next high or the next potential open is in the 135 level, 138. But as you can see, this number fluctuates. Okay, guys, SBAT trying to take out 21. I'm sure this is not shortable for me. BMNR. There are shorts available. Uh, there are shorts available for me in the BMNR. I just didn't think there would be. A lot of shorts, over half a million. Okay, guys, I was mentioning that I didn't like the spread, but SCLX, it's approaching that high. It is approaching that high. Oh man, I can't. So here was the original alert on the short op for the BMNR at 1023, 3967, and it is just. I mean, look at this. If this takes this out down here, 3769. I mean, you're giving up a bit, but look at that underneath. The next low underneath is 12. Well, the nonsense of doing something with altcoins or Bitcoin. Look at SBET now, guys. I mean, it's under 21, fading. Yeah. Well, getting very close. Okay, let's pretend it takes that out. Where could it go on the weekly chart anyway? So the next high for SCLX would be, I mean, ton of room, a ton of on the weekly chart anyway. 1684. Tremendous 2 week, well, 2 weeks and 1 day now. This was a $6 stock 2 weeks ago, 15 now, two and a half times. All right, PFSA resumed. Did it pop or did it finally drop? No, a little pop. It got halted at 130. So it's at 135 right now, but it may be running out of steam right now, guys, if you're in this one. Like, look at that, just had the drop. But if it can take out 138 later, and later might be, next 30 seconds, but because if it could do that, then look left and it's got a ton of room, 241. I sort of remember this I don't know what this is, if it was an IPO or a SPAC that turned into PFSA. Because if it's an IPO, it's a pretty cheap one, or a symbol name change, all sorts of reasons why we're seeing that as the first time, as like 2 weeks ago, it started trading as PFSA. Okay, guys, give me a moment. I'll be right back. I'll just, well, it says on mute, so I should have got rid of that, but I'll be right back in about 2 minutes. All right, guys, I'm back. And there's the PFSA now. PFSA at that, well, briefly, it did get up to 144. If it does it again, I mean, it's all about the float, 4.2 million in the float, 23 times normal volume right now. So another one, are they doing it for? I'm just looking to see if they're trying to get into altcoin also, but so they're raising 100 million or so up to. Okay, so Mohammed, I see you do have a post in our YouTube room. I have, sorry, I have to figure out how to pop the chat out so I can see it all the time. But okay, ATYR, ATYR. I think we looked at that earlier. So yeah, I mean, it popped up to a 728. It's had a pretty big pullback now, though, and it's underneath the VWAP. So I don't know if you're looking at it as a potential short. There are shorts available. It's a little late now, and I'm talking to Mohammed in our YouTube room. I mean, it's just been fading ever since the high. As actually was. I don't think it showed up on my gap up and reversal scan. I don't think it did anyway. But yeah, so I mean, it's still fading. I don't know if you're looking, trying to find a bottom. But right now, it's still kind of fading. Maybe this is going to be a support area. Other than that, I'm not sure what else to say. But it's quite a bit below the VWAP now. Yeah, you've got to. So that looks like it's it for PFSA. Yeah, you're right. Got halted on the way down, and now look at the potential open 106. These are very quick hitters, really. SBet guys, I don't. You know what? I'm not. I can't tell you to take the trade, but SBet is just fade, fade, fade. There's about a. I wish I'd taken a right here, but I waited. I always like to wait for a whole number break. But the alert was at 2151. Now, granted, I could have taken it there because that was far enough away from the whole number that even if it stalled, that wouldn't have been too bad. But well, every time it makes a new low, it's showing up here. Give me a moment, guys. Just doing something on my other monitor. Well, man, oh man, Geos was a star, I guess, from our AI today. I mean, this now had the pullback right into the VWAP. I kind of lost sight of this. And the next high looking left on the daily chart is 1718. Some, well, maybe I could even see it on the daily chart. Yeah, right there. So that day right there, that is June the 27th. So about a month ago. About a month ago, it's approaching that high. Oh, you know what, Chuck? Forgot to ask the question. So we had the problem last week with the AI not showing all the alerts depending on the server you're on. So how many does everybody just have 4 alerts today from the AI? Because they said they were going to try to fix or get rid of that server. Does everybody just have 4 alerts from the AI today? Or does anybody have more? Now, 4, only 4. Okay, so it looks like then it has been fixed because last week we were having a problem. Some of the servers, like the one I was on, did not show all the alerts. So, okay, so it looks like the problem has been fixed. Well, there was one anyway. SBET was one. Yes. Okay. With 3 open, get rid of this. Okay. Oh, well, you should have 3. You should have them all open. Get rid of if you in the filter and that drop down. If you've got if profitable trades is checked, uncheck it. Okay. Just uncheck it. I would want to see all the alerts all day long. Sometimes they set up in different ways, different price levels. Sometimes you get an alert, and maybe it drops a bit. Maybe gets into the VWAP or a moving average, and you can always take it there. So I would if it you should see all the trades though right now because even checking profitable, you see 4 of them. So you should have seen GEOS. You should have seen when you say you missed GEOS. Well, when you say you missed them, it means you didn't take them. It didn't mean you just didn't see them or you. Oh, okay. So the X4, see, the X4 to me doesn't have enough room. I mean, the alert is at 2. It is pulled back a little bit, but it doesn't have enough room. The next high is 225. So for me, so what gap up scanners are you talking about, though, Chuck? Exactly. Okay, you're talking about this, the gap continuation or reversal. Okay. So if you go to my homepage, just give me a moment. And this is for anybody. I might as well put this. I'll put this in our YouTube room too. If you're looking for my scans, I'll post the link in YouTube also. Just click on my homepage link. So clicking on my homepage link, this is what you're going to see. So if you scroll down, and here are my scans that I'm currently sharing. Okay, that middle section, view the scans, and then this is the one you're talking about, the gap continuation or reversal. This gave me well, it gave us the SBET, but it gave me early on, gave me not a bad one in the Ivanhoe, IE. But the SBET, I mean, that's just it just keeps drifting down. Now, I also have a version of it. You don't have to do the same thing, but this is called the don't repeat. So all I did was I took this scan. And if you want to do this, you can do the same thing. You take the scan, you duplicate it. Oh, well, first of all, let me explain what the don't repeat is. So this is just going to tell me the first time the alert happened, as opposed to seeing it over and over and over again every time it makes a new low for the SBET. So I can go and find out, well, where was the first alert for SBET? Well, at 10:50, and the price was 21.51. So that's why I like to see this. You don't have to. Nobody has to do the same thing. But if you want to see this in the don't repeat version, then you just right click on, because I do want to see this also. I want to see them both. Kind of nags at me. Don't forget about me. Don't forget about me. So you just duplicate the window, duplicate it, because that's what's on my homepage. That's what you're going to see on my homepage. So if you do want to see the don't repeat, you right click then. So duplicate it first, and then you see where it says properties and don't repeat. So you right click on it, go to properties, and then don't repeat. And now you have a bunch of you have several. Oh man, you have several things to choose from in terms of the or time frames to choose from. The don't repeat. 1 minute, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, or for the day. That's what I've done here for the day. I just want to see the first time you had an alert. What I did here in the don't repeat is 5 minutes. So it's not delayed 5 minutes. It just means I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it over and over and again. Every time I made a new low for SBET as an example. Yeah, so let me cancel out of this. So you don't have to do that, okay? I just like to have this. Yeah, so there are four scans in here. Okay, gap up and go. That meant at the time of the alert, the stock had gapped up. Remember, there are filters in here, how much it has to gap up, dollar wise and percentage wise. And then at the time of the alert, it had gapped up and then it made a new high of the day. Doesn't mean it's going to continue, but at the time of the alert, yes. The gap up, gap down and go. At the time of the alert, it had gapped down and it made another new low. Okay, those are gap down and go. These are the reversals though. A stock that gapped down, and then at the time of the alert, it was reversing. Again, it doesn't mean it's going to reverse all day, but this is the one I'm really paying more attention to. Or sorry, the gap up and reverse is what I'm paying more attention to. Stock that gapped up, and then it is reversing. And like the SBET. Okay, and they're color coded. So when I see the yellow is the one I love, because that means it gapped up and now it's starting to reverse. Doesn't mean it's going to reverse all day, but now what I'm liking about it a lot is that typically now guys, take a look at the PFSA. It is not over. I mean, that looked like it was going to drop down below $1. What I like about it, what we're seeing today from the gap from these reversal scans and the gap up and go and down, is that they're not all earnings plays. Because typically this scan will not be that live, not have too many alerts in it until we get into earnings season, because that's when a stock can really gap up or gap down on a day they release earnings. But for instance, the GEOS is not an earnings play. The SBET certainly is not an earnings play. The IE earlier was not an earnings play. So that's encouraging to me that this will still get some good alerts, even though these are not earnings. They don't have to be earnings. Don't get me wrong. They don't have to be, but typically a stock that gaps up or gaps down when we're in earnings season, we'll see a lot of stocks like that. Tomorrow, I'll almost guarantee we'll see a lot of stocks like that. BMNR, another one though, not an earnings play. And a nice gap down or a gap up and then reversal. So if you just want to see, for instance, if you don't want to see the rest, all you have to do in the strategies, if you just want to see the reversals, you can just uncheck the gap up and go and the gap down and go. You can just uncheck those two if you want. And if you just want to see reversal plays, that's up to you, of course. Perfect circle. I haven't seen you, yeah, for a long time. So, Jose, did you, when you click on my homepage link, okay, when you click on my homepage link, that's what I was demonstrating. So hopefully you heard all what I was talking about. Yeah, this is in our YouTube room. Okay, just click on my homepage link. I'll post it again in YouTube. Okay, I just posted that my homepage link again in YouTube. Boy, this is taking me back in time when I used to do both streams at the same time. And just click on the link. Okay, and again, just one more time in case you didn't hear me. Just click on the link and then just scroll down, and here are the scans. And the one I've been talking about a lot now is a gap continuation or reversal right there. Now, when you click on it, you're not going to get all the, what'll happen is you'll only get the latest one. Okay, so right now it's 11:58 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so you'll only get the latest ones. You're not going to see them all from the beginning of the day. Okay, so just in case you're saying, hey, how come it doesn't look like yours? The other thing that I do, you don't have to, but I have put a 15-minute delay on the scan, starting to give me alerts. It's not a 15-minute delay in terms of the actual alerts, like if that makes sense. It just means I don't want to see the scan from 9:30. I don't want to see any alerts from the scan from 9:30 to 9:45 because that's when stock can go up and down, up and down, up and down. So I tell it don't give me any alerts until 9:45. You don't have to do the same thing if you don't want to. But I just find that too many stocks go up and down pretty too volatile in the first 15. Again, you don't have to do the same thing. Well, guys, based on today, it looks like I can certainly. Now, I'll only ask one more time. In our main room, I mean, for those of you having issues with my sound, has it improved or is it the same? Yeah, I'm only talking about the people that were having problems in the main room that were saying that my sound was cutting in and out. So Kittler says it's improved. Okay. Okay, I heard a little pop. Now, Chris, I know you're in the room. Okay, so give me a moment, guys. I'm going to mute myself now in the main room. Okay, we're talking to Chris in the in our YouTube room. So I'm muting myself in the main room. I'll put the announcement up. It'll be back at about 1 o'clock. Chris, you're in the
Yes,
room
sir.
now, right? In our YouTube
Indeed,
room?
I am.
Okay,
Can you hear
now
me?
give me a moment as I turn down my music so I can hear you a little more clearly. Okay, so now I can't remember what I had to do to make sure. Do I have to do anything, or you just take over the room, right?
I think I can just take the screen. Let me check here to make sure.
But I do have to mute
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, I can mute you from this on.
Okay, because I'm going to do a video and I don't
Yeah.
want to. But I do see. Just okay. Don't mute me. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. There's a mic. I want to
You did it. You muted yourself.
know how to do. Okay, that's cool. I can do that.
And then your
Just
screen
real.
is still in the background. So right next to where you muted it, where that's like your fogged out looking screen, if you click add a stage, it would bring you back in instead of me.
Right. Or if you can see my screen, I can just click on Okay, I think I know what to do, but maybe hold on when I
Yeah,
come back at 1 o'clock.
I'll be here anyway, so
Okay.
you enjoy
The
your
other
break, buddy.
Chris, the only other thing is, how do I pop this out? I know I used to go into YouTube
You know,
and there were the little dots and I could pop this out. Because right
yeah,
now I have to have the whole thing and it's take, I just want to have the chat popped
I
out.
can't remember. I feel like they took it away for some reason. I don't
Okay.
know why they would have done that, but I couldn't find it myself either. I was looking one day and I couldn't find it. So
Well, it used to be when I went into YouTube, like literally click on that, you can see that and then that's when I could pop out the chat. But okay, well, I'll worry about that later. I'll let you go.
all righty, buddy. We'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, everybody. So Barry's off on a break. I'm stepping in here and get those questions. And if anybody has. There we go. All right. So, yeah, my eyes are on, got eyes on my screen. We're looking ready to go. Excellent. So again, folks with any questions, get those in for me. Go. Perfect circle. What's happening, buddy? Sorry, I was typing out a response to someone in another chat trying to get them some help. I had promotional video. No Shooter McGavin promotional videos, or not currently, anyways. I suppose that would be fun. I think we did one in the past, right? So, anybody questions? Don't be shy. Get those questions in for me. I don't have a whole lot going on here on my end, trading wise. Kind of looking at the markets, watching some different positions, and some different ideas that may be formulating. However, I go on vacation at the end of this week, so I will not be looking to add to any positions or open anything new or anything like that while I'll be away for a week. There's a lot of videos out there showing folks trading while they're on vacation and all those things like that. But aside from probably most, if not all of them being fake, I think it's a terrible idea to take your work on vacation with you. That's what the vacation is supposed to be for, to unplug, recharge, refresh, all those kinds of things. So any questions on the software, don't be shy. get those in for me. Open form here. No pre-done content. So we rely on you folks to drive the content with your questions, get you the answers that you need and are looking for in the software. There's like a lot of celebrities have whatever agent you could reach out to do videos and stuff like that. I forget what it was called. There was some platform a number of them were using. I don't remember what it was called, to be honest. And so we reached out. The marketing team reached out through those channels and booked something with them. I don't, it costs. I don't know how much it cost. All out of my pay grade. Let's see. I'm new to day trading. Recently joined TI email support. Needing help setting alerts notification. Are you able to walk me through or direct me to info? Yeah, absolutely. Are you looking to set up an alert window, a top list? Do you need to know the difference between the two? You just let me know, Frankie, what we're looking to accomplish here. If you sometimes folks don't know exactly what they're looking to accomplish as far as the software goes. It takes a minute sometimes to figure out, but absolutely can get you pointed in a positive direction. And finding my flow. Yeah, I mean, I think charts are kind of more of a secondary for us. Our real power relies on our real-time scanning. So we have two different types of scans here, and I'm going to go into this, and I think maybe it's going to help both you and Frankie. Two main types of scans, I should say. One being our alert windows and one being our top list. I'm going to do top list first because both work with what we call filters, and the other has filters and alert events. And so essentially what a top list is, it's a window that you program to say, find me stocks doing A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. And the top list will refresh every few seconds with every stock that meets the criteria in real time. You don't have to refresh it yourself. You don't have to plug in stocks and say, hey, do my stocks meet this? It's simply going to tell you yes. Or I should say, it's simply going to tell you these are the stocks that meet what you're looking for. And so filter is going to be things like a price range or number of average daily prints, average daily volume in some different time frames. We've got, 200 plus, maybe 300 different filters in here, give or take, that you can go through, build scans from, and any stock that meets it, you're going to get it. You would simply click on a filter to add it and then press add the filter. That would then take you over to what we call our Windows specific filters tab. And you start to give these minimum and maximum values here. You don't have to give it a min. You don't have to give it a max. You give it one or the other if you wanted. So for example, if you don't want to see stocks just lower than $5, you put a 5 here. And if you didn't care there was a cap, you would leave the maximum blank in that regard. So that's kind of the short and skinny as far as top lists go. And these are, a quick broad overview, and we can get some more detail if you have questions specifically. And then we have our alert windows. And so the alert window works a little different. In the alert window, we still have all these filters to choose from in here. However, we also have what we call alert events. And so the filters must be met at the same time the alert event is happening. So for example, an alert event would be a new high, a new low, a new filtered high, We've got these different pull-ups and pullbacks from highs and lows, standard deviation breakouts and breakdowns. The list goes on here, and the alert events are indicated by these single icons here versus the filters that have these dual icons like that, indicating minimum and maximum values. And so, like I said before, you would select an alert. So for example, a new high, I would press add alert. That takes us to the selected alerts tab, and I go ahead and put a check mark in that if I wanted to use it, uncheck something if I didn't want to use it, and I can hide the unused. And then again, we'd go back to building the rest of the scan through the filters like that. And then in real time, should a stock meet that scan, you get a time-stamped alert saying, dang, at this exact second right now, this stock did what you asked me to look for. And so that's the big overview, what we do, big broad overview of what we do for our kind of superpower here with the software. See, JL, I'm somewhat new to using programs. No, JL, we don't. There are buy and sell signals within the software, but it's not like an obvious, hey, you're just buying this stock and that's the end of it. You still need to be a trader. It's still a profession, and have to have some kind of trading plan on your own. Anything buy and sell is a suggested signal. It's not an end all be all. There are two different places we have buy and sell signals. Everybody just bear with me for one moment here. All right, there we go. So the first of our buy signals would be our AI or virtual trading assistant, Holly here. And Holly makes real-time alerts during regular market hours with suggested stop price. You decide how you want to manage the upside of the trade, assuming there is one. There's no feeding Holly anything. There's no adjustment to Holly. You just simply get what Holly puts out and make a decision along the way. Some people like to chase right into her alerts. Some people want to wait and see how the setup forms more. Here's a look at a few of the alerts from today with Holly. We got this STEM, XFOR. GEOS. And last but not least, today, COUR. So, it looks like it's a decent day from Holly today so far. You don't always see her go 4 like that. There is no win percentage I could put on this because there's no measurement to the upside on this, right? Each trader's get, some of these trades or some of these suggestions, they'll get into the profit for 2, 3, 4 minutes and then it's out. Some get in for a couple of hours. Some never make it into the profit. So no way to really quantify based on that. We also offer buy and sell signals on what we call our trade wave. So let me get that out for you here. Let's bring this one up here. Let's bring STEM back up. And so trade wave, it works on any time frame here. And it works by okay. It works by showing these little buy and sell widgets here like this. It's an EMA cloud crossover essentially. So it's trying to find a change in trend and then keep you in during that trend as long as possible essentially. So that's what that's really doing there. And that's where we have those buy and sell signals. You definitely, there's some setup that you have to do, JL. There's no software you're just going to get and it's going to tell you what to do without putting any work into it whatsoever. Nothing like that out there that I know of. So for the buy and sell signals here, let me drop you a couple of videos that you could also watch in your own free time here. This is going to be the video on Holly, very in depth. And this is going to be a video on the trade wave. There we go with that. Why is this fighting me on posting the link here? Sorry, it's not letting me post the second link. Let's try that. It looks like it's still giving me the same link twice. No, okay, the other link was above. My apologies. So you got the trade wave and the Holly links in there, so you can take a look at those at your leisure as well regarding Holly buy and sell signals and the trade wave buy and sell. We do these every market day at noon Eastern, and then we also have a live traders room. Today, the gentleman Barry that runs the live traders room is also streaming on this side because there's some technical glitches with some of the sound for a few folks in the traders room. So we got a lot of live support. Barry is very, very knowledgeable about the software, much more knowledgeable than I am about trading. So you get a good variety. And then there's a different person here. We rotate a few of us through the week for these live streams. You're not always getting the same person. You're getting different looks, flavors, personalities, thoughts, ideas, so on and so forth, as far as market talk, trader talk, and of course, software talk, which being our area of expertise here. And then, sorry, I see a number of things that come in here, so I'm trying to catch up on all those. Pretty sharp. Notice that you, Barry, Steve, had a different layout built. Is it possible to send a single link that would give us the same layout we see on the screen now? Yeah, I've got a link. Some of it's not going to work for you. There's going to be other stuff from another screen that I have that's going to come in from this. And anything that's attached to any of my personal symbol lists, they won't populate anything in your scans. Like my liked list isn't going to transfer over to you. But happy to share a link to that. Bear with me while I look for that in McLeod. So that's a link to my layout there for you. Like I said, most but not all of it will work. And each of us, we've built layouts based on what we're doing with the software and our trading and all those things like that. What is the basic scanning software price with no add-ons extras? It's $127 a month, or I think $1068 for the year. And we could give you, of course, a discount on the first month or year. I always say, and Barry would always tell you, start with a month first, right? And then if you like it, before the end of the first month, you can upgrade to an annual. We'll apply your first month's payment to the annual, and you get the discount off the rest of that year price too as well. So, this way, if you don't like it, we have an all sales final policy, right? So if you just run right in and sign up for a year, and then all of a sudden you don't like it, not good for anybody involved in that, right? But if you sign up for the month and you don't like it, you finish out the month, you cancel, you finish out the month, you're not charged anymore. Or if you do like it, you upgrade, you get 30 days with the software on day, usually by day 20 to 25, people know whether the software is going to be for them or not. But anytime before day 30 ends, shoot us an email, come to our live support chat, whatever it is, and say, hey, you know what? I was on a monthly, I want to go to the annual, and we'll move you from the monthly to the annual. The monthly price that you paid will come off, the final pricing on your annual. You pay the rest of that balance, you get the discount that you took on the beginning of that, and it's a win-win for everybody in that regard, right? And so, anybody here is kicking the tires for it, you could use that code that I just put in there for 15% off your first month or year. And then makes sense. All right. Yep. So we're good there. So I'm just trying to catch up. I know some stuff came in here. Bear with me while I catch up on the comments. Learning to trade off 1 minute chart on pre-market and early hours when the market opens. I like the scanner on the gap ups and want to be notified when 1 minute candles trending up. We don't have a way for 1 minute candles trending up necessarily. But let me drop you a video that I did on pre-market scanning. I do think that will be a help for you. It's also important to note that there are certain data points that we offer that do not work in the pre-market, will in fact block data. You can shoot me an email to info@trade-ideas.com, and I can get you a PDF of what does and does not work in the pre-market via that email route like that. We could show, pre-market highs as an alert. We got a 5 minute high, change in X amount of time frame and things like that. We do have a consecutive candles filter, but the problem with the consecutive candles filter is this, and we have it on a 1 minute time frame among others. Let me bring this up here. It doesn't look for green candles. It looks for up candles, right? And so you got to have the low of the next candle be higher than the high of the previous candle, and the high has to take out the high of the prior candle as well. So some people like the filter, some people hate the filter. It's just the way it is. But there's no workaround on that. So those are the things that I could point you towards as far as trending up 1 minute like that. We do have a in the alert windows, a change in 1 minute. Bring out an alert window configure here. There we go. Why am I typing configure? Haha. One type change. So you got these change in 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute time frames on both percent and dollar basis. So you could kind of stack those maybe a little bit as well to find stocks that are in an uptrend over a shorter time frame. So a few smaller SMAs, might consider one of those as well. We want to look for the filters on those. Got these different ones. We need 5 minute, 5 period on 2 minutes, 5 minute on 5 minutes, 8 period on 2 minutes and 5 minutes. Those might be something you want to consider that you're trending above those, but maybe not too far above those. So those are some of the things as far as pre-market scanning I would point you towards as far as with that kind of trending and thought. Got that. Yeah, JL, I try to tell people, look, we're a tool for everybody to use. If you think of us as the hammer and the concrete and the board and the sheetrock and the insulation and the roofing and all that stuff like that, to build a house, you got to build the house, but we're the tools and the material for you to do that. But, when you're building the house, you've got to come with the plan and those kinds of things like that. Great, thanks. Took a few seconds for each scan to fill in. Got it. Is there a risk management feature? This trade wave here, it works on any chart on any time frame. So you could have a chart up of a stock you want to see on a certain time frame and look for a real-time sell signal to come in. The sell signal comes in based on an EMA crossover, a cloud crossover. So you could use that. I don't encourage anybody to just simply trade something they didn't come up with. I'd encourage you to use it as maybe part of a trading plan, but not to just blindly use something that you didn't come up with or necessarily fully understand as your trading plan. I don't think you'll find many, if any, folks successful in the market that have no trading plan, no input, no thoughts on their own on trade management. Just my 2 cents on that. So, all right, I think I covered all the questions to this point. If I missed something, please put it back in again. Or if I didn't cover something well enough for you, please also put it back there. Just hit me up and say, hey, you covered this X amount, but if you could maybe more detail on this part of it or anything like that, just make sure I get everybody the answers that they're looking for the best that I can. All right, there we go. We have this news tab here. It's just a generic Google API pull. So if you're looking for like breaking news or anything, not our forte. There has been an issue with it recently. For some reason, some of these are redirecting to WhatsApp. I don't know why. The development team is aware of it. It's not coming from our end. So, they're looking into it, why it's happening through the sourcing that it's coming through. I don't have an answer for any of those things, unfortunately. Not my favorite position to be in when I don't have an answer for something that isn't awesome at the moment, but that's the true and honest answer on that. So we've got these here as far as news goes. So, it is just a quick click over to see if anything happens. I mean, it's not like the news is going to come 3 days later in here, but, I don't know who's out there. I don't use news at all. I've never, ever used news in my trading. I get that it's important to some people, and I would never say the news is not important. It's important for some people. Other people don't need it for whatever reason, myself included. But if you're looking for that like ultra breaking news, that's something we don't have, unfortunately. Yeah, the sessions are recorded. They're put up on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, on the live section of our YouTube channel. They usually, they won't appear right away. It takes however much time for them to come in and however that all works, essentially. me find a link. So if you come to our YouTube channel here, there'll be a tab for the live section. There's different tabs for everything that we do YouTube wise. So you'll find a live section there, and you'll find these recorded sessions there. No, there's no curation of the news. It's just the Google API. That's really it. It just pulls straight from that. All right, Jail, we appreciate that. That's good. That's good. That's good. And if, use that code that I shared before. There it is again, TI Chris, all capitals. That'll get you 15% off your first month. And they said, start with a month, feel it out, not for you. We understand, or, we've come across a lot of situations where someone says, I like it, but I'm not quite there for the software yet. And we cancel for now and I'll be back later. And, that's, different strokes for different folks, those kinds of things like that. So again, keep the questions coming. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Nice session so far here. I like this. I like this. Yeah, I have a whole other screen with stuff on it. There's a bunch of compare count windows, a pinned, not pinned, but I should say thumbnailed SPY chart on 60. I don't know if it's 15 or 60 minutes on that layout that I had. It was saved from the other day. There'll be a single stock window that's just set on the SPY. There's probably a price alerts window. Who knows what's in that from when I saved it. And there's a sector ETF scan as well, top list. So you should be seeing all those items in there as well. I believe that's everything. Oh, there might be a trade wave window in there. The 5-minute buy trade wave from the Market Explorer. Yeah, that's probably in there as well. So yeah, you'll have those items there. Yeah, thanks, Perfect Circle. I mean, this is where I got my start, kind of, sort of. We didn't have these streams when I was just a Trade Idea subscriber a long time ago. There was the live traders room with Barry all day long. And there's some other webinars in the evenings that used to be done. And we pivoted more to these live streams away from those webinars. But yeah, I had no finance background or anything like that. I didn't understand stuff. I wrote it down, tried to do what research I could and all those things like that. So like anything in life, you get out of what you put into it. The one thing about trading is there's no promises in trading. That's the one thing. Something that I learned the hard way. Many people do. Yeah, so finding my flow, the races are a top list, but then it's looking at the top list data in a different way, essentially. So here's a race that I don't day trade anymore, but when I did like this race. But full disclosure, I just wasn't good at day trading. It was a lot of 1 and 2 steps forward and a lot of 1 and 2 steps backwards, and it just wasn't worth the heartache anymore. Eking out gains, coming ahead by a few dollars here and there versus just focusing my attention on swing trading, where I just, for whatever reason, my risk management and plan just works better there. But that was no fault of the race or anything like that. It's just my brain and who I am. So at its core, each race is a top list. And so top lists look like this grid form here. There's also tree map form of the top list. I can go ahead and show that in the tree map as well. So there's different ways to look at the data on these here, and everybody likes to look at data. Everybody learns differently, right? So when we're looking at in this grid form here, inside the configure of this, what I did is I told this top list, and this part is just idea generation. There's no signal necessarily. I just asked the scan, find me stocks that meet this criteria in here. And so that criteria was stocks in between $2 and $30, trade at least 400,000 shares on the day. 85% above the lower 5-minute Bollinger Band. And there's just this volume metric in here just to make sure stocks are kind of consistently trading through the day. I didn't want to see stocks that they trade 5,000 shares now and then they don't trade for 10 minutes. They trade another 40,000 share lot and they don't trade for 45 minutes. I want to see that there's some flowing liquidity in stock. That was the point of it. I don't use Bollinger Bands as a indicator, but I wanted to find stocks that were moving up and possibly breaking out. And John Bollinger, who created Bollinger Bands, originally created them as a momentum indicator. Break of the top band is a breakout possibility, break of the lower bands, break down possibility. And I am aware that folks use Bollinger Bands for a revision to the mean. For those that don't know, a Bollinger Band is 2 standard deviations above and 2 standard deviations below a 20 SMA on any time frame. So that's where that revision of the mean planning on that goes. But in the spirit of John, who created these, I was looking for something to the momentum upside. So that's why I use Bollinger Bands right there like that. And I said, once you find those stocks that meet that criteria, I want you to sort them by the ones that are up the most from the open. So that's what we see here in this order like this. And then you can see how that order translates to this scan here. But then the race takes it one step further. And in the race setup, I say, that's great. You've got it all figured out here from the top list. But now I want you to show me what's moving the most on a total accumulation right now from the open. And so that's where this comes in, and you see these moving up and down and which one's leading and things like that, because it's moving in that real-time sorting of the change from open on a total accumulative like that. And then at the end of it, I set it for 3-minute races. The logic behind my 3-minute races was this. When I was day trading, I liked 15-minute charts. And so 5 3-minute races equal to 15-minute candle. That's where that came from. I've since moved away from all that, but I left the races on 3 minutes. It doesn't really impact me one way or the other. I leave the scan up here to discuss it, fill some space on my layout, because my layout has, my use of the layout's become extremely simplified at this point in my trading journey, let's call it. And so I left it like that. The other reason I like the shorter races is I like to get this top 10 list over here on the winners, and it's a great watch list for the whole day. Unfortunately, I had to restart the software. I was working on something, and I had to close software and reopen it. So I lost this list was a nicer list before I had to restart the software an hour ago or so. So I lost it, giving you that example that way. You can also just show all winners. So right now I have it set to top 10. I show all winners. That puts a number next to it, how many times it's won. So MPU is the last winner. It's won 8 races, and it's won all these races in a row right here. VWAV has also won 10 races. And so you can see the order in which this has all come in like that as far as those races go. I could click it again back to the top 10 winners. And it makes for a nice watch list for the day, because you got to have something winning a race at one point, and then maybe it's still making some decent moves for the day and it's trending, but you're not aware of it if you're not paying attention to the checkered flag, finish circle, winner circle, whatever you want to call it, because it's not winning the race necessarily. And you can go ahead and set price alerts for areas. I can right click and say, gee, if it breaks above this level again, I'm interested. I want to know about it. Let me set a price alert there, and we're not there yet. But if we crack that 16, for example, again on the stock, I'm going to get the price alert. And then, I don't have to pay all my mind to wait, I was looking at that stock, now what it's doing. No, I was looking at this stock, now what it's doing. And so it frees my mind up to look at other things and do other things with charts and positions and so on and so forth. So that's why I like the races. That's how I set them up for myself personally. Again, there are people that have given us some terrible hate email about the races. And it's like, all right, if you don't like it, that's great. You don't have to use it. Nobody put a gun to your head and said you had to use it. I don't know, you got to insult us, but that makes you, if it makes you feel better to insult us, by all means, great, good for you. Have a great day. Some people want to see it in the grid form. That's good enough for them. Some people, again, they want to see it in the tree map form. So, we got the options for everybody like that. So anyways, long story long on the races. Sorry, I went off on a tangent there. So we did that. The alerts are time stamped real time. Again, some people just prefer the alert windows. I get it. I'm not, alerts are what we built, really built up our fame on, to be honest. Yeah. Delete whatever you want there, 3 sharp as far as that layout goes. And you keep that link. You could save the whole layout to the cloud if you want. So you just got it as a backup, the full thing, if you ever want to go back and revisit. Of course, I could always share another link to it too. That's easy peasy. Always reshare that on a request. Yeah, so JL, I see your comment about not looking to get rich quick or anything like that. That's the right attitude. I will say this, and I've said it in a lot of streams. This deeply offended me when someone told me this once upon a time, and I mean deeply offended me. But once upon a time, someone told me there are no wealthy day traders out there. And, they said, the wealth is in the real buying and holding and patience and having a solid plans and all that stuff like that. And I didn't want to hear any of that whatsoever. But, Warren Buffett, not a day trader, Jeff Bezos, not a day trader, Elon Musk, not a day trader. I know some of these own their own businesses and things like that. But my point being is in the investing and the investing in themselves and the plan and sticking to a plan and discipline and things like that. It's not to say that you can't make a very good living off day trading. There are people that do it. It is, I think, personally harder to do than swing trading. But, those that really put the effort in, learn some technical analysis, learn to understand charts. I think understanding support, resistance, and volume is as important as literally anything you could think of out there. Those are the people that set themselves up for the most success. And that's the other thing too. Yeah, I mean, there's a million and one ways to trade. There's also a million and one ways to use the software. I know as much of the software as I know because I have to. I have to support all kinds of traders and all kinds of shapes and forms and things like that. I don't use at this point. I'm probably using 5% of what exists for the software out there. I've used more than that over the many years that I've was a subscriber and continue to use the software in my own trading. Over time, things evolve and you try different things out and see what you like and what works. Some things work now, but they don't work later. Some things don't work now. They do work later. Combination of those kind of come together, things of that nature. So, I tell people there's so much vastness with the software. And really, I get this from Barry, actually. You don't have to know all of it. We've got 500 data points to build scans from. You don't need to know what every one of them is because you're not going to use them all. Just nobody does. It's just that simple. It doesn't hurt to learn as much as you can without overwhelming yourself. And we've got these great help pages here. If you right click any of these icons, if you select it and then right click, you get this help page. Comes up like this, gives you the definition of the data point, some examples on ways to use it, so on and so forth. So it's a great way to do that. I mean, you just click on and also press the help down here to give you the same thing, same page. There's a couple different ways to get at these help pages through the configure there. There are a lot of resources out there between us here live and what's built into the software and our education page and so on and so forth. Oh, perfect circle. I would say that Steve and Andy are great swing traders. I'm improving year to year. I'm improving. Those guys are great swing traders. I'm definitely a much better swing trader than day trader. Always improving. I will also say this. We're in a nice bull market for a while, and bull markets make everybody look smart for the most part. So I've definitely been a beneficiary of this recent bull run that we've had over the last several months. Hopefully when we make a turn, because eventually we'll make a turn, we'll sell off. That's, the ebb and flow of things. Hopefully I don't hand back what I did, Yeah, that's, I had something similar. I'll be honest, there was something similar with this race. When that bear market of 2022 started, I think that bear market started before it was official bear market, but you could feel things getting kind of toppy and things deteriorating underneath in January of 2022. And by February, they're starting to really come undone. And, I think it was by April, we were in a bear market at that point. I think maybe it was May before the bear market actually technically started. I was actually killing it day trading with this scan here. Like, I couldn't believe how well I was doing for about, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months. And then all of a sudden, I just started handing it all back. Like, I didn't necessarily change anything. It just, I wasn't, I was doing the same way I was entering the trades. I was using the same stop method that I was doing, using the 8 EMA on a 15-minute chart. It just stopped working. And then and it wasn't like it stopped working for a week. It stopped working for a couple of months. I was just handing back everything that I did. And then, of course, I started to make tweaks and adjustments, and that wasn't helping. It was probably making things worse, to be honest. That's why I just kind of said, like, I got to step back from this now. I worked my butt off to quote, make all this money, and I'm just handing it back freely again. And it's like, it becomes frustrating, discouraging, and all the things that everybody probably experienced at some point as a trader, and some experience it multiple times. I know I have all this doubt. Like, can I really do this? This is so hard, and I understand all these things about charts, and I understand all these things about technical analysis, and I just can't seem to apply it properly, and blah, 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 blah. Woe is me, right? That was what happened to me. And, continued to like do okay with the swing trading, okay-ish with the swing trading through that bear market. I'll say that I wasn't necessarily really making anything, but I wasn't losing anything for sure. And it just kind of pushed me back to swing trading. And here we are. That's life in the market here, at least for me. A lot of people have similar stories, but each path is unto each own. Yeah, exactly. Just push some buttons and collect some money. It's one of those weird things. It's like, I don't think trading needs to be complicated. And it doesn't need to be stressful. In fact, and trading should never be exciting. Actually, trading should be very boring, because if you have a very repeatable process that works, that should actually be boring, right? I mean, the exciting part is believing that the strategy is working now and that you're on your way to, those goals that you're looking to reach as far as trading. But the process of the trading, like, if you're taking a position and your heart's jumping all over the place, your position size is too big, or you didn't have a proper plan on, or, things like that. These are all things that I experienced and all that. So I say that all these things, and I don't know, we look at a chart or two here. We got a few minutes here before I wrap up for the afternoon on the live stream here. Look at this WAV. And what does this look like in a 5-minute chart? Let me move this to a 5-minute chart. Shorter time frame here. So, this is trending up for the day here. I will say a little bit tough in regards to some of these topping shadows here. This is where swing day trading became so tough for me, because for me, I felt like I had to take larger share sizes to try to make the money that I wanted, but the stops were always close, and all those things like that. So sorry, I'm waiting for a drawing tool to load up any day now. There we go. So, like, you're in something like this, and let's just say you get in here, and it makes this nice move up, and all of a sudden you get this move back down like that, right? It's like, well, you get out of it, and then it moves back up again. It's like, oh, I got to jump back in. It's moving up again, but it gets all toppy right through here. It comes back down to where you actually got out the first time, right? Then it makes this big move again. Like, it just becomes difficult where I feel like I could take a smaller share size, a wider stop, and I'm not hanging on every tick as much. Still a mental thing to not hang on every tick, but that's just the mentality for me at the swing trading. So MPU, that was moving along here pretty consistently, just won another race. So it's going to take the lead on the top 10 finishers here. Looks like I drew on this chart at some point. Must have looked at the stock in the not too distant past. So this one's having itself a nicer day as far as trying to find some trending. Trends up earlier and kind of consolidates through here. Then you get a breakout and a test of the breakout level before re-breaking out. Less on the topping and bottoming shadows here. So to me, to my brain, that's a little cleaner look actually. Nice liquid stock. 3.1 million shares traded on it. Shy of 14 on the relative volumes. It's definitely very much in play. And then, here's the other one too. Get that increasing volume through here at the beginning of the day. It's come down a little bit, but saw it increase through here. We're in that kind of sleepier part of the day for a lot of folks. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on here. And then looking back, we got a lifetime here of 448. I'm not seeing it. Let's see if we hit the Wayback Machine on this picture-in-picture. And I heard Barry. Well, I think it was Barry anyways.
Yeah, like the old days, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of miss it.
I miss talking to you guys.
I definitely miss it.
Yeah. I'm just going to listen to you for I know you're still got, well, I can take over any time. And you know what I want to do? Just out of curiosity, when I do this, I just want to make sure I know how to add me back.
Yeah.
I'm looking at add to stage, but that's not doing it. So should I go?
Yeah, if you click that add to stage, it should bring you in.
Okay, it says before presenting a screen, remove other media streams from the stage. So that means I have to remove you?
I'd have to remove myself then, I guess, for whatever reason.
Oh, okay. Well, let me keep going. Okay. Yep. And in a couple of minutes, I just want to hear what you're saying, because I think there's a question that you might want to answer from Net Trade One. I don't know if you have an answer to that one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm hanging here for a couple of minutes. No rush back in.
Okay. So, but I will listen to you.
All right. At your own peril.
By the way, how do I mute you? Because that's the only other thing I was trying to think of. I know how to mute myself.
So if you hover over my name, I should be the very first one in line there. You'll see a little microphone. You could click the mute on that, or there should be a remove button. You could remove me too.
Okay. You know what? We'll do this after 2:30 or so when I'm out of the other room. Okay. Just to. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, Chris. Keep going. Sorry.
You got it. Yeah. Can you please help us build a scan that can catch upside movers from a long, narrow price range? But is a long, narrow price range on what time frame are we looking at here? So like INKT. That's not INKT. That's INKT. All right. This is super annoying. INKT. Let's try it. Third time's a charm. Like, I wouldn't even. I mean, I wouldn't call this a narrow range necessarily. Here, you got $1 above and below, and the thing isn't really trading almost at all, right? It's 120,000 shares to this point in the day, so it's like modestly a liquid stock. I mean, we look at KSS, maybe that's going to be a better example. But what's the time frame that we're looking at here that we're trying to build this in? I mean, it can't be daily, because look at the spike, and it's in a downtrend on the daily. Moving sideways here for a little bit. So 2 or 3 years, KSS isn't a downtrend for a long time. There's no consolidation here. It's just a straight up downtrend. It's a falling knife. No downtrend there. And definitely no downtrend in INKT. Definitely no consolidation or narrow range either. I mean, this fell from $40 down to $12. Over $40. It fell from $60 to $12 over the last couple of years. So there's no consolidation on that. So and maybe that. No, same thing. You know, these are all downtrend stocks with these recent huge pop-ups and spikes, and then falling right away again. I mean, this thing traded all the way to $19 and change a month ago, and it's at $4 now. If I was building something that's looking for consolidation, what I would do is this. First, you know, depending on the time frame, we have some consolidation alerts and filters. So you got this consolidation alert here. You got these consolidation breakouts and breakdowns on some different time frames. And then you have these consolidation filters, consolidation in days and position consolidation. So I'd consider those first. And finding something in consolidation, it can't break out if it's in consolidation, right? You can't have both. You can't have both at the same time. What you can do is find things in consolidation and try to find it at the top of a recent range, right? So you maybe look for something like that, and then in position in range, you might look at today's range, right, and find stuff at the top of today's range, or maybe something at the top, you know, things like that. So you're in a consolidation, but you're at the top of that consolidation, possibly poised for a breakout. That's what I would do there. You can also do that on these intraday time frames as well, 5, 15, and 30 minutes. You do have range filters here, so you could find stuff on different time frames in a range and maybe give it a tight range. And then again, use the position and range filters that we just looked at to find things at the top of those ranges. So those are the things that I'd point you to there, NetTrade1, as far as that goes.
The other thing I would add, Chris, if this gentleman's looking for, or lady is looking for 2 to 3 years, you're looking at more fundamentals then also,
yeah,
know, rather than pure technicals, because that's a long time. I mean, I know I don't hold anything for 2 to 3 years, but if I were going to, it would have to be some amazing story that I thought was going to take hold.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
You know, so
and,
it's
you know,
not
we
really.
do have what is it? Position in 2 years, right?
We might.
Position in 2-year range. There's a position in 2-year range. That's as far back as we're going to go as a data point, outside of the lifetime one. So you may consider those filters as well, mix those in there. So yeah, I mean, 2 years is a very long time in my world.
In most people's worlds now, because I mean, you know, 2 to 3 years from now, I mean, this world can be very different. You know, and what looks awesome today may not look awesome 2 to 3 years from now.
Right.
So.
I mean, I still I think about once in a while, what was it? The stock? I can't remember what it was. The stock of the decade. Remember?
Yes, NTLA.
NTLA. Right.
Yeah.
That was Goldman that said that, right?
It's, well, I think it was in 2018. It actually did well, but you know, 2028, it actually did well because I remember when the call was made around 17.
So, I mean, looking over the last 5 years, though, it's down 26% over the last 5 years. So,
right. I know.
Good times. Good time. That was within my first year of being in the trading room with you guys, and I'll just never forget that.
Yeah. Well, Goldman Sachs doesn't normally do that, but it was, I don't know if it was tongue in cheek, but at any rate, it was something to follow. It was kind of fun. Chris, okay, let's see what happens now. I want to take over.
Yep.
So if I just remove you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to remove you. And then I'm going to add me to stage. There's 2 of you there. Oh, okay. I think I'm up. Can you hear me, Chris?
You the first one you removed was my mic. The second one was the screen, but you got it. That's
I got it. Okay, so we're good. Okay,
perfecto.
All right. Well, the computer doesn't seem to be overtaxed, so I'll try tomorrow before, but maybe around 2:30, 2:45 if you're around Eastern time. I want to run through this one time, starting it again, so that I don't have to bug you every morning.
No, all good. I'll be here.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I'll see you guys all later. Take care.
All right, guys, I'm back in both rooms right now. Like the old days, used to like talking to the guys, you know, because I used to talk to Andy and Steve and Chris. when I used to do the YouTube stream, and then it would take over. So anyway, we are now back, and let's see if there's anything happened since. Now the gap up and go, that V wave definitely kept moving for a while anyway. Yeah, as you say, V wave more. Now, hopefully, any one of you that took the SBET short, okay, you, in my opinion anyway, you should have been at least taking a lot of profit out of it, okay? Because it did get down below 20, which was fabulous. But then, it got back over 20, and now it's at 20.84. So I hope that you guys took profit on that SBET. Let me get rid of that, the announcement. Okay, guys. Now the MERC, this showed up in the combo scan. Okay, in the combo scan, and at 436, the problem is, as always, you've got that high up here, that red line. That is the next high looking left. So that prevents me from taking it, which is too bad, because if it had room, let's take a look at what month that was. Yeah, when it was last month. So it's not like it's that long ago. It was 5 years ago. I'd say I don't care, but I do care. But if it does take that out on a monthly basis, wow, I mean, the next high is 6. So I'm not saying it's going to get there, but I will put a price alert in that area and see if it takes it out. Maybe not today, but maybe tomorrow, because it's obviously trying to have a bit of a comeback here, the MERC. Okay, guys, I'm just looking at some of my thumbnail charts to see if there's anything interesting. The answer is not really. I mean, the market has done nothing today, really. Look at the SPY, it's off 14 cents. The Dow's down 23, and the Qs are up $1. So the market is really, I mean, it's been somewhat of a downtrend, but the market is really not doing too much. How did that PFSA end up? JL, so in our YouTube room, note about Mac users, is the AWS setup pretty straightforward? I've never had to use it for anything. I've never had to use it for anything either. I don't know how straightforward it is. I know there are people at Trade Ideas who have used it or still use it because they've got Macs. I think it's just a matter of, what, like any other thing, I think you just have to take a look at, go to Amazon, go to AWS, and just literally Google it. How do I set up to use on a Mac or something like that? I think it's pretty straightforward, but unfortunately I cannot speak from experience because I've never had to use it. I'm talking to JL in our YouTube room. And the reason, again, just to let people know, we're not supporting our web-based version anymore. Okay, there was a web-based version of Trade Ideas. We're not supporting it anymore. But if you have a Mac and you want to use the downloadable version, you can. You'd have to now either use AWS or Microsoft. What is it? Microsoft 360, something like that, or or you could use Parallels, so some kind of an emulation program like Parallels. You could also do that. I don't know if that's easier than AWS. I know there are people that do that, but again, I have no experience. Always had a PC, so never had the experience of trying it or using it. All right, guys. Well, I'll put my link in one last time, my homepage link. Okay, so there's my homepage link that I just put in, and I now have to do it in both rooms. All right, so clicking on my homepage link, this is what you're going to see. So at the very top, a way in which you can take out a subscription to Trade Ideas using my promo code Barry1515. You'll get 15% off the first month only or the entire year. So all I ask, use my code. Whatever the code is, it will change from time to time on my homepage. The room gets credit for the subscription, and that helps the company tracks the promo codes. And if they see enough people using my code, they'll keep the room free. Scroll down a bit and you can sign up for the Trade of the Week right here. Trade of the Week is sent to you. It is free, and it is sent to you before the market opens every Monday morning. This week's a little bit different, but before I keep going, if you sign up for the Trade of the Week and you don't think you're getting it, please check your spam folder. And if you have Gmail, check your promotions folder. Please do that before you contact our account people saying, hey, I've signed up and I'm not getting it. Please check your spam folder first. And then if you have Gmail, your promotions folder. Now, the Trade of the Week this week, sort of an interesting one. It's Webull. However, the idea was to wait to see if it could pull back close to 14. Okay, now it may not, in which case it will not be a Trade of the Week. Well, you can still trade it. I mean, you want to trade it now, you go ahead. But the idea, when you get the email, you'll see Steve, or you'll read where Steve said, let's see if it can pull back to the 14 level. It may not do it. Education section. So the first thing to do, if you do take out a subscription to Trade Ideas, okay, is take a look at these videos. I think they're 8 short videos. And, it's aptly named Getting Started with Trade Ideas. That's the first thing you must do if you take out a subscription. Now, if you're wondering about Trade Ideas and you're kind of wondering, is this the right program for me? You can take a look at these videos. You don't have to look at the first one, but look at the subsequent ones. And this might give you an idea about whether or not Trade Ideas is the right program for you. Back to basics. If you're new to trading, this is a whole series of free videos for those of you who are new to trading, and it's free. You don't have to be a member of Trade Ideas to have access to these videos. Now, if you're looking for my scans and you've clicked on my homepage link, just scroll down, middle section right here are my scans. So what you can actually see on the screen, most percent up in 5 minutes is right here. I shouldn't say that. It's you know what? I really should rename it because they don't have to be up. It's the most percent change in 5 minutes. Okay. That's what it really is. And this is the same. This is the most percent change in 2 minutes. So for instance, here's PFSA. At PFSA, it's now down 3.6%. So they don't always have to be up, is what I'm saying. And you can sort, if you understand how these tree maps work, you can sort on any header. This time I'll sort on the position in the range. So if you see 100, very close to 100%, that means that VWAV is basically at the high of the day. MPU, basically at the high of the day. VAPE has pulled back somewhat. So you can take, if you sort on the position and range, you can actually look for stocks that have pulled back if that's more your style of trading. The momentum scan is here. This scan right here, and it's ringing at me right now. Just give me a moment. This was an awesome one, which I did not unfortunately take, the BKKT. So this is the gap continuation or reversal. And there are 4 scans in here. There are 4 scans in here. Okay, there's a gap up and go, gap down and reverse, gap up and reverse, and gap down and go. So hopefully they make sense. I mean, aptly named, gap up and go, the stock gapped up. Remember what a gap is? It's the first print of the day, the first trade of the day. So it has to have a certain amount. It's a combination of also a little dollar amount. I think it's not that much, say 40 cents and 1%. And then when you get the alert, so the gap up had been filled, but also to get the go, it had to make a new high. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to keep going though. It just means at the time of the alert, that's what happened. This is the one I'm really liking, the gap up and reverse. The stock that gapped up and then it's starting to reverse. You can see the AIM, you can see the BKKT, the IE for me earlier, the SBET. A lot of really nice gap up and reversals. And then the gap down and reverse. And now here's the gap up and go though. The gap up and go, again, that means that when you're seeing that alert right now at 113, it means it just made another new high for the day. And then the gap down and go was a stock that gapped down. And then at the time of the alert, it was moving down. But if you only want to see reversal plays, okay, then all you have to do is, you check whatever you want to see. Okay, so if you only want to see reversal plays, then you uncheck the gap up and go and the gap down and go. Or if you just want to see the gap up and goes, that's, you just check that. It's up to you. You can see though there's check marks behind the 4 scans. You just have to pick and choose what you want. I've got them all checked, but I also, they're color coded. So I know when I see yellow, it's going to be probably my favorite one right now, which is the gap up and reversal. Now that could change next week. It could easily change next week. But that's why you've got 4 of the scans in here. And, I've just found that last week, the gap up and reversals seemed to give us the biggest bang. And it really wasn't dependent on the market. It's not like the market was tanking. What you'd think a gap up and then a reversal, that the market must be tanking. Not really. So any questions? This is a support room also. It's not just a trading room. And I'll be here till 2:30 anyway. And I'll hang around later if there are any questions. William is not. He's going to be taking off for a while. So he's not going to be keeping the room open after I leave. So the way to keep me around, if you want, is just to keep asking me questions. Otherwise, I'll probably be taking off at around 2:30 Eastern time. And the room is open at 7:30 Eastern time in the morning. Chris Varley, who was just in our YouTube room, he opens it at 7:30. And then I get on around 9 o'clock. Yeah, well, I don't, but you see, the reason I was using William is because he was always here till, he always liked to stick around till about 4 o'clock. But, I can't ask that of Pepe. YouTube, I'll definitely have to shut down because there's no moderation. So I definitely have to shut down YouTube. So Anita, the question from our YouTube room, what trading platforms are compatible with your software? So it depends what you mean by that. I mean, we're a standalone scanner. Okay, so It doesn't matter what trading platforms you use, what trading platform you use. You know, we are a standalone scanner. Now, we do have something it's pretty interesting, is that we do. First of all, Anita, can you see I'm talking to Anita in our YouTube room. Can you see what I'm going to be doing? I'm just want to make sure you can see my screen and what I'm doing before I keep going. Just waiting for a yes from Anita in our YouTube room. I know there's a slight audio delay in our YouTube room, about 8 seconds or so. Okay, cool. So if you click on from the toolbar, click on Tools, okay, and then External Linking. So what this does is we link with many brokerage platforms. That's what I do. So we link with many brokerage platforms, including, of course, the one I'm using is Interactive Brokers. Now, linking means this. It's a tremendous time saver for somebody like myself who is constantly clicking on symbols all day long. So what that does is when I click on, say, a symbol, VWAV, it loads into my order entry in Interactive Brokers. It loads into my order entry into Interactive Brokers, as an example. But we link with many brokers like that, so that you don't have to. Otherwise, I would have to take. I get something from my scan, and I'd have to type it in. So when you say compatible with your software, again, it depends what you mean. But we link with many brokerage platforms in this fashion. So is that what you meant? Like who is your broker, Anita? Just out of curiosity. And it's just a matter of following the instructions, this add link, and it's going to run you through some instructions about how to connect to your broker so that it loads it. And then from there you trade it. Okay. From there you trade it, which is what I do. Boy, look at that VWAV. What a monster all day now. So who's your broker? Okay, so I don't know what I don't think so. I don't know what Mumu is, Anita. I have no idea. I've never heard of Mumu before. More than likely. So the integration then, with certain brokers, with Interactive Brokers, yeah. So are you talking about trading from within Trade Ideas? Is that what you mean? I'll just wait for an answer. I'll keep going, but I'll just wait for an answer. If that's what you mean, like trading literally from within Trade Ideas. So because we have this, what we call the screen you're seeing here, this is called Brokerage Plus. Okay. Yeah, so the only brokers you can use to actually use this screen, which is within Trade Ideas, is Interactive Brokers, E-Trade, and Alpaca. Okay, Mumu, definitely not. I have never heard of Mumu. I'm not even sure we can link with it. We might be able to link with it because linking is nothing. Like the brokers don't really care if we can link with them or not. Is Mumu Tasty Trades, the old Tasty Trades? Okay, but 100%, but definitely not. You cannot use this window, which is Trade Ideas, and set up a link with Mumu. Okay, you definitely can't do that, so that you could trade from within Trade Ideas. But understand that, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know Mumu, but there might be a way. There might be a way in which you can establish the link to what I was saying, and then from there you trade it. From within Mumu, you trade it. Depends how many, depends how many trades are you taking a day? Because if you're not trading that much, I mean, to me, if you can establish the link, that external link to Moomoo, then, trading from within trade ideas is not that big a deal, in my opinion. Yeah. So if you're only doing 2 or 3 trades daily, I don't think that trading from within trade ideas is a big deal, but I don't know if we can establish a link with Moomoo. I've never, somebody was saying it's like Tasty Trades. That I just don't know. You know what I can do? Chris was in the room before. He usually has a handle in this. I'll ask him. Is it web based or is it a downloadable application? Is it web based, Anita? Because I know we can't do it with web based programs. Boy, this got absolutely clobbered on that financing news, the LIDAR. Yeah, that's really that's set this back a day anyway. Not shortable for me. Okay, so we cannot link to the web-based version. Well, a web-based version. For instance, we cannot link to Webull. Okay, but if it's a downloadable application, let me just ask. And it could just be a matter of trial and error. Okay, so I've asked a question, okay, just to see if if Chris has heard of Moomoo, or if it's like Tasty Trades, maybe. And the idea then would be really just to see, you add the link, and then you're going to see that it says, okay, while keeping this window active, mouse over the target window. Typically, that is going to be in your order entry, okay, in your platform. And then you hit the shift key to select the window, and that can establish the link. Now, there may be some other things you have to do. With Interactive Brokers, it's super simple, but there might be some other things you have to do. But once you do it once or twice, you get used to how to do it, if we can do it. And again, understanding that the broker doesn't care whether we can link to them or not. Okay, so there you go. So Pepe is not going to hang around after I leave. All right, guys. Boy, this was a fabulous one. This was a fabulous one on that gap up and reversal scan, the BKKT. Okay, it wasn't as fabulous. I thought it might have been a $2 or $3 move. Still about $1 move though, because the alert was right here. You can see there's that little blue arrow. That tells you the candle in which the alert happened. That's all that's telling you. It's not telling you to buy it up. It's just telling you, okay, that's where the alert happened. And the alert was at 1762, and then you had about a 40-cent move before it consolidated a little bit, and then another move, and then another move. So at the very best, almost $1 from that. You have E-Trade. Okay, now this is in the main room, Fibonacci. E-Trade connected as brokerage, but still cannot get the symbol linking. So what you're saying is that when you click on a symbol, it's not loading in. It's not from within. You're not talking about from using Brokerage Plus. You're just talking about a simple connection, clicking on a symbol, and then having it load into E-Trade. Well, that's strange because E-Trade is one of the original brokers that we linked with. Oh, you have it connected as Brokerage Plus. Okay. And following all the steps, there's E-Trade right there. Connect all the steps. I think I don't do this, but I don't even know what's in settings. No. So following all the steps, what I would do then is, because I have no experience with E-Trade, okay? I don't link to it. Never had it. Why don't you info@trade-ideas.com. However, before you do that, you've gone to the guide. So if you click on the if you click on my homepage link and then scroll down a little bit, the education section is here. And then at the top is the user guide. And as I understand it, I haven't looked at this for so long, but Brokerage Plus, I thought that would show you how you connect to E-Trade, the proper port or whatever. So have you done that? Does that no mean you haven't tried this? Because I don't think it's hard. I mean, we've had that should be simple, but if that doesn't work, if you can't figure it out here in the Brokerage Plus, then go to info@trade-ideas.com, okay? And just say, I'm having trouble. Okay, check this out first. And there should be an E-Trade section. Give me one moment. So, Anita, this is what Chris said. The likelihood is that we could link to it if you're using the application, the downloadable app. Okay, and try to build the basic link first, just like I would. Well, I don't know. Do you have trade ideas? If you don't have trade ideas, then But if you ever get trade ideas, but then try to build the basic link first, as I was saying. Click on the tools, and then external linking, and then just follow these instructions, and that may do it. If that doesn't do it, then there's some things like some rules or the alternate method, things like that. It's just a matter of trial and error, really. Okay, it can be trial and error. And even I don't even know. Maybe we have a Tasty Trades, or I definitely don't have Moo. Interesting name. Yeah, in this rule section, there might be something that says tasty trades. If it is, so what is it? The old tasty trades? Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we link with Fidelity. Linking again, meaning linking again is just it's a big shortcut. For somebody like myself who's clicking on symbols all day long, it would be a real hassle if I had to type the symbol in. Oh, not at all finding my flow. So the question in our YouTube room, listen, it, it seems the software is built more on longer held trades rather than fast trading. Well, I don't hold anything long. Now, it depends what you mean. I mean, if you're talking about 5-second trades, no. But now, you can have a 1-minute chart if you want. Okay. I mean, I just choose to have a 5-minute chart and a 15 because and then the daily so I can check to see where the next highs are. Okay. If I want to go long. But no, I mean, this is, if I had to say anything, Traded is designed for day trading. I mean, you can figure out some swing trades and all, but Traded is definitely designed for day trading. But if you're talking, depends what you mean by fast trading. If you're talking about getting in and out in seconds, no. All right, then maybe go to info. Go to the info. I'll type in the email address again. Okay, and oops, sorry. Okay, info at trade-ideas.com and ask the question you're yeah, it's that info at trade-ideas.com. Okay. And send the email saying, and give them your email address just in case, and just saying, I'm using Brokerage Plus, but I'm having problems connecting to E-Trade. And Chris is sort of our connectivity expert, and he's around, so hopefully he can help you. Well, you're saying though that when you click on an alert, when you click on an alert in Brokerage Plus, it's not sending it to E-Trade. Yeah. So, well, if that's what you want, now more than likely, are you wanting to trade from within Trade Ideas using Brokerage Plus, or well then why don't you just try the don't go through Brokerage Plus then try the tools external linking and see if that does it. And try to establish the link just right here. Add the link, and I think even don't we even have an E-Trade? We even have an E-Trade. Maybe we don't. Surprised we don't have an E-Trade one here as a pick. But E-Trade should be simple. To get that box, you just click on from the. I'm talking to Fibonacci in our YouTube room, in our call it the main room. Tools, external linking. Okay, go to our toolbar and then click on tools, and then external linking, and then just add the link, and then just follow what it says. More than likely, all you have to do is just follow mouse over the target window. Target window probably is your order entry in E-Trade, and then press the shift key down, and that hopefully will just establish the link. You might have to use alternate method. I'm just not sure, but it should be. I mean, we've been able to link with E-Trade almost from the beginning. Okay, so we don't have 10-second charts finding my flow. We definitely don't have 10-second charts. Okay. See, my trades can be quick, but I'll hold. But if the trade is still working, I'm not getting out. I mean, that's I'm talking to finding my flow in the. So I don't put like a time limit on how long I'm going to hold anything. If it's still working, as I mean, it might sound obvious. I'm going to keep in the trade. But we do not have 10-second charts. We have a 1-minute chart minimum, but we do not have 10-second charts. So yeah, so I've never had to do that. So that's the other thing. What Mike is saying, you have to open TI and maybe the brokerage platform and run both in administrator mode. Okay. I don't have to do that with IB. I've never done it. And it's just the linking with IB is Interactive Brokers is fabulous. It- All right, guys. Let's see. Anything other than the V wave? I mean, that's all. I mean, there's your news. Okay. Securing a $50 million equity line. That's your news. And sell up to 50 million over a 24-month period. And that's your news. But really, that's your news. The float. Let me check that other website. I want to check the other website to see how close we are. Yeah. So the other website has 3 million in the float. So I mean, it's it's not 604,000, but still 3 million is very low. So that's why something like this can happen. How can a stock be up 380% because of the float? And if you don't know what the float is, you can ask me and I'll explain it. But you can hear the negative numbers. Okay, so that means the stock is pulling back. So if you're more into pullback trades, you see something that says negative. You can see what is it pulling back into an area you like. Is it pulling back to the VWAP, or maybe you have a moving average on your chart that you like, or some other area on the chart that you thought, man, if it pulls back to there, I'd like to take the trade. See if it holds and then bounces off that support, what you might think is support. Just one moment, please. Okay, guys, I'm back. Okay, so Jerry, oversold stock. So what do you mean by oversold? Like a low RSI, something like that? You know, everybody has a different idea about what is an oversold stock, but because RSI can be, I mean, a lot of people will look at RSI, so a very low RSI to some people will mean an oversold stock, which in that case, it's easy enough to create if that's what your idea of an oversold stock is, because we do have. Let me just break this out. And are you talking about intraday oversold? Or are you talking about daily oversold? Like what is your time frame? I'm talking to Jerry, multi-week. Okay, so I don't know about multi-week, but because I don't think we have an RSI. So we have a daily RSI. Okay, so if you put a really low, like under 20% max, you know that's going to show you again. That's what a lot of people will use for RSI. They use for RSI. They use for what they're considering overbought or oversold stocks. Now, as far as multi-week, I don't know. We don't have a notice. We don't have a weekly RSI. Anybody else out there that might have an idea about oversold? I don't use this indicator. I mean, I know of it, of course, the daily or the RSI, but I don't know if there's another way to find as a filter. Now, the other thing, most neglected stocks. Well, what does that mean though? Stocks that are not trading very much? I mean, volume wise, is that what you mean? Like when you say most neglected stocks? But, but you know, that's all kind of subjective, isn't it? I mean, ignored out of favor. What is that? It just means that a stock. Okay, here's another thing you can do is the position and say year range. Okay, just as an example, position in year range or 9 month or six, but we have the different position in ranges, right? So if you said I'll use, and we have 2 years. So if you added that filter and say the max was 10% as an example, that means that it's in the, you know, if you had a year candle, it'd be in the lower 10%. Does that make sense? So if you had a year candle and you use say max of 10%, then that stock would be again in the lower 10% of the year. Yeah. So in terms of rotating out of sectors, yeah, I mean, I don't have anything like that. I mean, we have you can kind of scan on sectors a little bit, but if you just want to, in general, if you want to see stocks that are out of favor, just take a look at the position in the year's range as an example, or even lifetime range. You know, we have a position in lifetime range, which you could find stocks that are really near the low of their lifetime. Those are out of favor, whether they're oversold or they what you said though, ignored. I would call that ignored. A stock that is, you know, a lifetime low or the low of the year, near the low of the year, those are ignored stocks. No. And then all you have to do, so you use those either one or the other or both, and then put your price range that you want and just see those stocks that are really out of favor. Nobody cares about them. Does that make sense? And I would use a top list or something because you'll just get a list of stocks that are, say, the lower end of the year's range, if that's what you wanted, or you could go 2 years. think we have a 2-year. So I'm not a fundamental person, right? So, but we do have fundamental filters that you can try. So I don't have a scan for fundamentals, but if you do a search, and then the category fundamentals. This is what we have for This is what we have for fundamentals. So the market cap, shares outstanding, and all this held by institutions, insiders. We have all these fundamental filters that you can use. I don't have. Most of us in the room do not trade on fundamentals, but I mean this is a way in which you can, if you want, use these filters to trade on fundamentals. But I don't have a scan built. Somebody who is more of a fundamental trader will understand what some of these mean. Of course, I mean I have an idea, but you could always. Now the other thing, here's another idea. Here's another idea. Don't talk about this too much, but here is another idea. So the stock composite rating. Okay. So from 30 to 100. So what this is, I haven't talked about this for a long time. So if you had stock, so for instance, let's take a look at the stock composite rating for this 35 for PFSA. That means this is what this tries to do. It shows you stocks. The higher the number would mean a stock that has good fundamentals and also good technicals. Probably the good technicals are things like, over the 200-day moving average, maybe over the 50, maybe over the 20. Maybe there are some other technicals, but also has decent fundamentals. Okay, so the higher that number, I mean, right at 100 would be so if you're looking for stocks that are more beaten up, the low that we go is 30. So you might want to go, if you use this filter, you might want to try saying 30 to 40. Okay, as a range, max 40. Low, well, you don't have to put a min actually, just put max 40. And those will be stocks that are in theory. Oh, just give me one moment, please, okay? We have somebody working on our front door right now, and the door is open, and we have a cat. So I have to make sure the cat doesn't escape. Okay, so does that make sense? Maybe put a max of 40. And then you're going to see stocks that in theory are poorly fundamental wise and also technical wise. And then after that, you just create the price range you're looking for, things like that. You might want to add the RSI on the daily, just to see what sort of stocks you get. You might want to add the position in the year's range also to see what sort of stocks you get. But I would start off with that. Well, if you're looking for stocks with high composite ratings, but making new lows in what time period? Intraday or what time period? Like 5-day lows? Okay, you can do that. Then you take that filter. So you can take this filter, okay, stock composite rating, Add that filter and maybe put a minimum, again, maybe 80. Okay, that's still pretty high. But then, so a change in say 5 days. Okay, say that would be a week. Where are we here? 5 days. Give me a moment. Okay, so the change in 5 days, and what you would want then, let me just let's say you wanted, I don't know, a 5% drop. Yeah, so just using the negative numbers, okay? So if you put -5 here as an example, that would mean you just, I'm just going to click on the summary. The price was down at least 5% from 5 days ago. Okay. Well, try this first, okay? Never, not necessarily. I mean, you could try, but this is used as a filter. Why don't you try this? Stocks, I mean, whatever that number will be, 5%. Now, if you're looking for a low of 5 days, then using the new low. Now, the only problem is you could use a new 5 day low right there, put a five. Now, I cannot remember if it counts the if it counts Saturdays and Sundays. I cannot remember. It used to. I don't know if that's been. I don't use this, but you might want to try this: a 5 day low, new low, and then check it, and it's a 5 day low, or a bit, or at least down, say 5% over the last 5 days. Thing. There's all sorts of ways you can kind of configure it. There's not going to be one right or wrong way. What I would do is just sort of experiment, but I think we can do kind of what you're looking for. See, the way if you use the change, then you'll have like more like a grid. In my opinion, you'd have a grid, and that would show you the stocks, in grid form, so you can glance at them all at the same time, as opposed to having a trigger like a new 5 day low. But it's up to you, because having a grid allows you to just to click on the symbols and see if it makes sense. Yeah, yeah, and there's no question V wave was the one. I'm kind of changing my I guess my focus though, not so much following the, I mean, obviously, the V wave would have been awesome getting in at the right time, but I'm sort of, just give me one moment. Kind of changing my focus, especially now that we're in earnings season and we're getting a lot of what I consider more stable type setups, okay? Even with the V-Way, I'm not saying they're all stable. One stable meaning to me anyway. I mean, this wasn't bad actually on a 15. I was pretty steadily up. when you look at a 15-minute chart. But sometimes, you'll see giant bars up, giant bars down, up and down, really making it a challenge to hold on to a trade depending on where you put your stop. Whereas, what I'm finding with these ones right here, they're a little more relaxing. Not all of them. Give me one moment. Yeah, I mean, this V wave, it's one of those ones that if it takes out, well, first of all, let's take a look at it on a weekly chart and see where it could go. Yeah, so this started trading as V wave back here a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if it's hard to believe it was an IPO, but it might have been a SPAC that turned into a V wave or a symbol name change. Hard to tell for me looking at this. Looking at this chart, it's hard for me to know exactly what happened here. I don't think it was an IPO, but I'm sure it was not an IPO. But let's just take a look. I can't believe I'm going to see V Wave here. This is my IPO, recent IPOs. Yeah, I don't see V Wave there. Well, I think what happened is it was either a SPAC that turned into this or a symbol name change. Though, if it's a symbol name change, I mean, the lifetime rate, normally our provider accounts for that. I mean, it says it's 521% lifetime high. So the bottom line is, in theory, there's nothing stopping it. Okay. So it was a SPAC. So it was a SPAC. Thanks, Hitler. It was a SPAC. The reason why sometimes I don't know they're SPAC because a lot of the SPACs open around $10. So the question is, can I share my Momo scan? I can, Jason, in our YouTube room. I'll just force you to do a little bit of work. Okay, so if you click on my homepage link, Jason, I just put it underneath you. Click on the homepage link, and then this is what you're going to see. So you'll be at the top. Just scroll down, middle section. Here they are. Here are my scans, and then this is the momentum scan you're looking for. Okay. And remember, if anybody taking my scans right now, you're not going to see all the previous alerts. You'll only see the last one. Okay. So don't think, hey, how come I'm not seeing all these? You only start to see the scan probably the last one, the PFSA. Probably see that one. But here are the other ones that I am sharing. I really think the gap continuation or reversal scan is a worthwhile one to look at also. So the question is, can TI do back testing? Give me a moment. Yeah. You can back test up to 3 months, if that's what you're talking about. Back testing for us means taking an alert, creating a scan, and then back testing it over 3 months to see whether, how well it would have worked if you took every single trade that happened in that scan over a 3-month period. That's what back testing means to us. Is that what it means to you, Denver? Okay, so how? There's a whole back testing section in our guide, but basically you create your scan. Okay, it has to be an alert window. Then you right click and you back test the strategy. Okay, and you can start it at a time, end it at a time. Um, you can, define your risk. I mean, it's pretty, most people don't do it, but you can do it. You can simulate a buy or simulate a sell. Well, it's simple in that in order to start it, it's simple, yes. But let's let's just do this for fun. Now, it typically you don't do it during the day. And it could take a while. Well, she's not doing too badly. You do this usually after hours. So Jason in our YouTube room asked, "Is there a possibility of reverse split criteria coming for the possibility to scan for these?" Um, I would say no. Okay, I mean anything is possible. Yeah, Pepe, it is not that bad during the day now. You're right. Used to be terrible. It used to be like you'd see the thing inching, inching, inching. Okay, so here's an example. Okay, so yeah, not terrible, even though it's only 37% winners. But when you had a winner, it was like almost 2 to 1. But this is what I'm talking about, the optimization. You can start looking at the different price ranges that you've got. Is there is there a price range? And it has to be, you can't go, okay, I don't want that one and that one and that one. It has to be, I think, all contiguous as an example, or maybe time of day. Time of day. Is there a better time of day? You can see right off the bat in this particular one, forget about going after 10:30. Okay. I mean, everything else was negative, was not profitable. So in this particular scan, and you had 129 trades over, I think I probably did it for 3 months, but that's how the back tester works. This is the simplest optimization, but if you look at the settings, optimization and other filters, this is where it gets really crazy because look at all the different filters you can do. So that's kind of what the AI does. Okay, kind of. It takes a scan, runs through an optimization procedure, and then starts varying the values. But a computer can do that. Whereas if you did it one by one by one by one by one, it would take forever. But in this particular one, it's not bad. I mean, in terms of the time of day, just limiting it from 10 to 10:30 in this particular one, and forget everything after 10:30. Oh, this is actual data. Yeah, this is actual. This is the results from the momentum scan. It is part of the premium service. Yes, you need to have a premium service. I think with the standard service, we give you 10 to try it just to see if it makes. Understand, most of our customers do not do this. This is I call this definitely a super advanced topic. It takes a lot of time because what can happen is, let's just say, for instance, you look at this, oh, wow, okay, I'm going to do it 10 to 10:30 and that's it. I'm going to make oodles of money from now on. A week from now, it could be completely different. Okay. And you say, wait a minute, all those trades I'm taking in the first half hour, they're not working anymore. So you got to go back and tweak it, constantly tweaking it. Now, if you've got the time and have the inclination, because it can kind of be fun, but to start it again, this is just taking this momentum scan that I've got, and you just right click. and you back test it. And so I only did it for 10 days or 30 days. So if I, give me a moment. Uh, I'm only doing it for 30. Well, this is the actual data. That's taking this particular scan. Yes, it's actual data. But it's only going back 30 days. And if you think I could remember how to, oh, there we go. Okay, so go to advanced. So if I want to do it now for the full 3 months, 63 trading days, I'll try it again. So now let's look at the optimization and go to the time again, because that seemed to be the, so again, the same thing. The time, it looks like after 10:30, forget about it. In this particular scan, forget about it. Now I started at 10. Let's see what happens if I start at 9:45. See, this is the thing though, guys. You can see how, you can have fun doing this, but you've got all these variables. And also the price could be a variable too, pretty big variable. But it's all in the guide. No, 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 no. What it does is, Plant, it takes every single occurrence that happened in this scan over 3 months, every single occurrence, and it takes the trade. It's not a single. You can do it on it, but I mean, I don't think it's worthwhile doing that. But you could take a symbol list and attach it. But in this particular case, it's taking every single trade that happened. And in this case, there were 564 trades. Too many. So you want it, you probably want, not that you would take every trade, but so in this particular case, there were 564 times in which a stock met the filter requirements, and you would have seen it in this scan over the, excuse me, over the last 30 days. Sorry, 3 months, 63 days, trading days. Now you could attach to this scan a symbol list of only seeing stocks you want. You can do that and then run it. But again, I don't do this. But it is part of the premium service. Part of the premium service in that you have unlimited. You can tweak it unlimited. You can take many scans as you want, run the back tester, tweak it as many times as you want. You're not limited to just 10. 10 just gives you, a very basic idea about what the back tester can do. Okay, Glenn, so did that answer your question? Okay. Hey guys, wow, it's 2:13 already. It's been pretty fast. So as I said, I'll be sticking around to 2:30 every day at least, and then a little bit afterwards if there are questions. No questions, I'm going to leave. And unfortunately, William is not going to be keeping the room open, so he's taking a big break. So Kittler, are you still around? I'm just interested to know what the sound is like in the room again. I am going to contact the gentleman who looks after the room, because I guess people are saying in YouTube I'm fine. Now the sound is good. So Pepe, you are in, or you can be in both rooms, right? Just to toggle back and forth. Is there any sound? Is there any quality difference between one room and the other still? Wow, this PFSA got up to $1.71. I mean, guys, this takes this out. That is, you see, that's the next high. Looking left, this week I guess had a high. Oh, this must be today's high. Of course, it's today's high. So, I mean, the next high is 240. I mean, if it takes this out, I mean, it could have a end of day run. Look how nicely it's kind of consolidating in this area. But if it does take out that high right there, 177. It's not that far from. It could have an end of day run. No, no, no. I understand. How interesting is that? The sound has been great since I started YouTube. How interesting is that? So I can so it can't be then anything within the room, I wouldn't think. Well, okay. I will just keep if I can, I will keep broadcasting in YouTube as long as my computer doesn't go crazy. And it hasn't today, so every now and then, but I expect that the virus scanner goes crazy. But other than that, yeah, the audio is so plain. Yeah, the audio is the same. Without dwelling on it too much, the audio quality didn't seem to be very good for a lot of people in the what I call the main trading room. So I decided, like I used to stream in YouTube at the same time. Okay, so I've had two streams going. This is the same stream. They see my screen, they hear me. So I thought I'd start a stream, but I stopped that because my computer seemed to be getting way overtaxed. But I wanted to do a test to see how I sounded in YouTube, and they say I sounded, fine in YouTube, but now I sound fine in the main room. So it's the same room. I mean, people see the screen, they hear me. The only difference in YouTube is that it's about a 5 to 8 second delay, and that's a YouTube thing. So it's not. So I would stick in this room, this one right here. I would stick in it because there's more options available. It's easier for me to hand out links, etc. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. If I start off in YouTube, I'm going to do a YouTube stream the same time as this, and we'll see if it's fine right from the beginning. Now, Pepe, something that could be interesting, just starting YouTube or starting the stream, but not actually broadcasting, but just getting the sound, if that makes sense, because it's the streaming, I think, of course, that, but not showing the screen, but just activating, but it's not actually activating the YouTube stream, so people don't go there, but it's just activating somehow the mic. Boy, there's the BMNR. Wow, that was another one that was really good from the scan. From the now a little bit choppy. I don't want to say choppy, but it did have a little pull up. But now look at it, and it's at the low of last week now. Last week's low was 37.10, so it's right at that low. Takes that out in a big way. Look out, $12. That's where it started 4 weeks ago when it had their I don't know if it's Bitcoin or some altcoin that they're getting into, but you can see a lot of them are just starting to fade now. For the market, yeah, not well. I mean, the SPY has been on a downward trend, no question, but only it's, down a bit over a point. The Dow's down, Qs are basically flat. So I've just had the two trades today, guys. The IE short from the scan, from the reversal scan, and then the SBET. Okay, so they're more of a miner. Okay, Linda. So they're not amassing Bitcoin. Well, or like, but they must be amassing Bitcoins now also. They're mining them and amassing them. All right, guys. So here's the wave, V wave. So it's sort of like Mara and Riot, then, Linda. Now, Jason, if you're still around in our YouTube room, I thought this site also had. There was a site that tells you. Maybe it's not this site. This is the dilution tracker. I thought maybe this site. Give me a moment. I thought this site also showed upcoming reverse splits. There is a site so Jason, because just as good is if you do a search. I know there's a site that shows you the upcoming reverse splits and the ratio and all that, and the date. I thought it did also, Jason. I thought Dilution Tracker had that. I'm sure it's an option somewhere. I just don't see it. I don't see it here. I thought Dilution Tracker did that. Yes. So actually, I actually find that a better. It's like when I talk about IPOs. Do we scan for IPOs? No, but you can always plan for the IPOs that are coming up by putting a price alert, going to the IPO calendar and putting a price alert, and then when it starts to trade, it pops up in your price alert. But also with the reverse splits, you can just get prepare for the week. Just jot those symbols down because it's usually pretty reliable when they say they're doing a reverse split and they tell you the day it becomes effective. Jason, but you have seen what I do for IPOs. Talking to Jason in our YouTube room, you've seen what I do for IPOs. Okay, watch what I do because I'm biased, but I think this is a better way to do it because it prepares you from when they start trading. So let me. Well, yeah, this could be the new schedule for. I'll start streaming like I used to. I mean, about a year ago, up until about a year ago, I was streaming in both rooms, the YouTube room and what I call the main trading room. But it was causing a problem with my computer, so I stopped the YouTube room. But I'll do it tomorrow. I'll keep doing it unless there's a major problem. But let me show you what I do for IPOs. So first of all, let me give you the link. This is what I do. This is what I use. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you. Somebody's telling me, yeah, it is in Dilution Tracker. You can see it in Dilution. You can see it in Dilution Tracker reverse splits. Okay, I'll try to open that later, but I just want to go over the IPOs and why I think this is a better thing to do. So here's the IPO calendar. These are the upcoming what you saw there were the IPOs that have been released. Okay, so tomorrow, so this is an uplisting. Okay, so it's not exactly a typical IPO, but and only 1 million shares. Wow. Let's take this one though. So it's supposed to come out on Wednesday. So what I do is this. I take I take the symbol, and before I do that, I also want to see where it's from. Okay, so it's a US based, not China, Singapore, or outside of the US. Okay, so this is what I do. So I'm going to go type it in AMBQ, right click, and create the price alert. And I'll put one. It's obviously going to open above one. Just give me one moment because I think I'm missing a column. There we go. Okay, I thought I was missing a column. Okay, so let me do this again. So I'm going to create the price alert. I'm going to put one. Now here, this is why I like doing it this way. Here I can put the little notes in because when it starts trading, I want to know, is this a good IPO or a so-so IPO? How do we know that? Well, if I put the notes in, first of all, I put the structure. So it's going to be, I know it's going to be pretty low in terms of how many shares, 3.4 million. It is saying it should open between 22 and 25. So I'll put, it hasn't been established exactly yet, 22 to 25. And, there's some, BOAs behind it. maybe some others. So I will put, so I know that there's some, some heavyweights maybe behind it. So what happens is when I save this, if it starts to trade on Wednesday, it, my price alerts my price alert screen window. A moment. So see, it's right at the bottom here. If it starts to trade, when it starts to trade, if it is on Monday, on Wednesday, it's going my price alert window, because I minimize it. So I minimize it, is going to pop up on my screen. I'm going to see it. I'm going to see, oh, and then I see the notes immediately. And so I know, let's just say it opened at 30. And this was supposedly between, being priced between 22 and 25. If it opens at 30, we know there's some enthusiasm for it. If it opens at 17, we know, well, not that great. As an example, I also know who's behind it a little bit, how many shares, where there's really, and we saw one last week that were very good. But let's keep going. We'll do this one because look at this one. So Figma, and this is an exercise that you can do, say, on the weekend, because you'll see the ones that are upcoming. Okay, so that's on Thursday. So let's do Figma, and we'll type in, and I'm sure this is US based because of all who's behind it. So I'll type in Fig, right click, right to price alert. Now, if you personally, I think there's a way better way of doing it, just because you'll know what the structure is, rather than having to scramble and trying to find out, well, is this good or bad, and who's behind it, and how many shares, and what was the IPO price. So does it take a little bit of work? It does, but it's kind of fun, in my opinion, just to kind of go through them. And so now this is a big one. I mean, this is a big IPO. 37 million between 30 and 20. Sorry, 30 and 32. And look who's behind it. I mean, big. So all I'm going to say is big guys. I don't have to list them all, but a bunch of big guys behind this one. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, etc. So there's a lot of big people behind this one. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to do well. We had one last week, NIQ, tons of big guys behind it, and so far it hasn't broken out. It was 21. The IPO was at 21. So far, it has not broken out, but maybe it's just resting a bit. Yeah, I think it's way better, Jason. I honestly believe it's way better. It sort of drove me nuts at the beginning too, that we couldn't kind of scan for IPOs, and then I don't know, somebody directed me to that website, not for this specific reason, and I thought, well, wait a minute. When they start trading, how am I going to know if it's good, bad, indifferent, who's behind it, where it is? Some big ones. Another Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Piper Sandler. Here's another one, Shoulder Innovation. Now, not that many shares, only. So I'll put that one in. Also, SI. But that's the exercise on Saturday or Sunday. You'll see all the upcoming ones, and you can just go through this, and then you'll be properly prepared. Just put one as the price alert, because it's obviously all these are going to open below one or above one. 19 to 21. And again, big guys. I'll just put MSGS. Okay. There are others, but now I know that there's some big guys behind it. Again, doesn't absolutely mean that just because the big guys are behind it, that it's going to rip that day. This one actually did very well. ARCs. I don't know what it's doing now. Yeah, so you can see, it's sitting at what, around $30. It was an IPO at 21. So when this opened, it opened at 26. So you knew right off the bat, and there's some big guys behind this one too. So this one so far has been, pretty successful. If it ever takes out that high up here, it could keep running. Okay, guys. Well, it's great. I'm getting questions. I guess from YouTube also. So we get some questions out of the YouTubers, which is great. So I will be wrapping this up pretty soon. If you have any questions, ask them now. Now, I'll probably the main room, as I call it, and just so people in YouTube understand, there is another room. This is sort of what I call the main room. This is what it looks like. I can give you the link for the main room. You do have to sign in every day. You have to. But if you want to stay in YouTube, go ahead. There's just more traders in the other room and a little more interaction. That's all. So the main room will open at 7:30. Okay, Eastern time. Chris Barley will open it. I'll get on the mic at 9 o'clock. I'll probably try to open the YouTube room, I don't know, 8:30ish, quarter to 9. It's set up. And then I'll get on the mic at 9 o'clock for both. What do I think about Palantir? Well, in terms of a company that has gone from 2 to 1,000,000, I don't really, I mean, I'm just amazed at the move it made. I mean, I sort of understand why, but I really don't have any feelings about it. Do I think it's going to keep moving? Do I think this is it? Is it going to fall? If that's what you're asking, I really don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody really knows, but I mean, it's been an amazing story, no question. So I think probably people would have thought the same thing as you're thinking right here, right? Okay. Palantir overbought up here, starting to fall. Then the next day, a big 3-day run. So, it's your guess is as good as mine. Is this now the start of another big run down or just, momentary profit taking? What is my style of trading? Well, from Jason in the YouTube room. Well, I'm starting to pay more attention to this. I mean, I'm looking for stocks that have gapped up and then starting to fall. Okay, using this scan. If you would ask me in general what my style is, I would call myself, a momentum style trader. Look, most of the things I see are, well, right here, they're all at the highs of the day. But I'm starting to lean a lot more now to, shorting these. I mean, I'm getting some really good looks from these stocks that have gapped up and then starting to fade. So I'm kind of concentrating on that right now. I'm sort of not looking so much at these wild ones, these ones that are putting on 300% moves. Not that I'm not going to, especially now that we're in earnings season, because we'll get a lot of stocks that will gap up or gap down based on earnings. And so I'm kind of right now for the next, month or two anyway, month and a half probably, while we're still in earnings season, I'll be paying a lot more attention to this scan right here. And there are 4 in here, but really, the gap up and reverse. Shorting, so not everybody wants to short, but those are my 2 trades today, the IE and the SBET coming from that scan. But there were others that I could have taken, I just missed them. No, I'm not taking no, in fact, this scan purposely will not deliver any alerts until at least 9:45. Purposely. You see, there was the first alert of the day with 9:45. That's on purpose. That was on. This is just me. The reason being is that stocks can gap up and down, up and down, up and down in the first 15 minutes. Doesn't mean they're all settled after 15, but for me, I would just get overloaded with a whole like lots and lots of alerts right at 9:30. Stocks that have gapped up, and then so I choose to delay my first alert until 9:45. You guys don't have to do that. You can if you want to see them right from the beginning, you can do that. So you can take this scan and you can always make changes, of course. And this would be a universal change. So I configure all, edit, and you'll see the time of day. You see, I've got 15. So if you delete that, then you'll start getting alerts right at 9:30. I just don't want that. But it's up to you guys. You can take the scans that I've got and make changes, price range changes. It just happens to be what I want to see. I don't know, broken record. I know it's a broken record, but some of the really good ones here had weren't based on earnings. The BMNR, the IE, the SBET, and probably others. I think the BKKT, they weren't based on earnings at all. They were just stocks that gapped up and they're just moving down. All right, guys, PFSA. Oh, got halted on the way down, I guess. Yeah, that looks like it's dead now. It's not going to do it. So the question in the YouTube room is how to build a scanner which looks at today's earnings stocks and alert if it's going up after earnings announcement. Well, okay, now understand that a lot of these stocks, this is an example. Now we do have a channel that is based on earnings, okay? But for instance, the filter to use, now this is not telling me stocks, this is just telling me this stock is near the high of the day. Okay, this is a top list window, but if you can see what I'm doing, this is what I would start off with. Okay, so what I did, this is the filter to use. Okay, the earnings per share filter. Let me show. Where are you? What? Give me a moment. That can't be. Whew. Okay, must have clicked something else. Okay, so I right click configure, and then I click on summary. So you see, this is the earnings per share filter. So this is what I do. I want to see the stocks that have released earnings after hours. So say for today. So let's say we're on Tuesday. We're tomorrow. I want to see the stocks that release earnings after hours today, and then in the pre-market. So that's what this minus 0.25 is going to show. Because to me, a stock that releases earnings after hours is going to be active the next day, and then this is releasing earnings before the market opens, 0.25. That's how, that's what these numbers refer to. Okay, that's what I would do, number one. Now, going up, well, I mean, it's simple enough. So once you've got this, that's only going to show you earnings plays, number one, okay? So does that make sense so far, Aslam? I'm sorry if I really mispronounced your name, but Shahrukh? Does that make sense? Number one, that's what I would do to find the earnings plays. Because I do think that stocks that release after hours, the next day they're okay. So that's the start. Okay. So that's the first filter to use. Now you're only going to see the earnings plays for the day. Now, after that, you know, so what you want to do then is to, create your price range that you like, because not every stock that releases earnings is not necessarily going to be what you want to see. So you would okay, so you would create the price range you want. In this particular case, I said between 1 and 100 as an example. Okay, but that's up to you. Um, I put a minimum volume of 200,000 shares, but that's up to you. Now, here's the difference though. If you want an alert if the stock is going up. So are you talking about making a new high? And like a new high for the day? Or, for instance, I mean, this stock is not necessarily going up right now, but it's at the high of the day because you can see the green in there. You can just sort of see a little sliver of white. That means that ARLP, but most of them are not. See, there are very few earnings plays today. Very, very few earnings plays today. There'll be a ton tomorrow. When you see this screen tomorrow, this will be more than likely. I won't be able to. I have a 32-inch monitor. I will not be able to stretch it so you can see all the earnings plays because we'll have a bunch of them after hours today and then tomorrow morning. Okay, so you can add an alert on the top list. So what you would do then is you would have to create an alert window. Okay, an alert window. You know how to do that, right? Farouk, you know how to create an alert, like an alert window, and then use that EPS filter or the earnings date filter. So something like this, for instance, if I just took this, I'll duplicate it just so I don't overwrite it. So now if I added that filter, the earnings date. So if I added that, and I put minus 0.25, and the reason there are not too many, because that would mean it would have to have released earnings after hours on a Friday. Not many companies do that. So if adding that filter, and I'll keep everything else the same, okay? Let's just see what happened. See if we had any. I'm just doing a history right now. Okay, so did you go through the 10 videos, Shahrukh? Did you go through the 10 videos? Because one of the videos talks about alert windows and top list windows and the differences and why you would use one over the other. Maybe you didn't see that. You should do that. If you're new to trade ideas, you should do that regardless of what I'm doing right now, okay? Because you should get they're very short videos. Just give me one moment, please. Yeah, I'll share the link, guys. So this is the link. Okay, so you go to my home page and this is what you would see, okay? This is my home page. So when you click on it, this is what you're going to see, my home page. And then if you go to the education section right there, more info, education section, okay? And then right here, getting started with trade ideas, some short videos for you. Guys, I do have to take off. I have to leave right now, okay? So I have to shut everything down. We'll see you guys tomorrow.